Hello, welcome back to Ready Steady Play. Today we're playing Monster Hunter World from Steamforged Games. This is the Ancient Forest box. This is what we're playing. I can already see chat are complaining about my choices. That's fine. It's alright. Listen, I only opened one box, okay? I only bought the basic pledge. They sent me 2 boxes this size. They said you can combine them. And I said no, because I'm only going to play one box. So if this box isn't good on its own, what does that say? What does that say about the product? It says you need 2 boxes. Then I looked into to see if you could buy this at retail, and you can't even buy this at retail, and I don't even know if it's going to come to retail. And they're already running a Kickstarter for like twice as much stuff again. So, that's, yeah. Well, Hager says I should be playing Hunter's Horn and Switch Axe. I don't even have those in this box. Do I? I don't think so. I've got these 2. These are the 2 I want to play. I've chose to play. I got Dual Blades guy because I thought he was cool. And then, like, in a tiny appendix at the back, it says you need to play 2. So now I've got Sword and Shield, a person that I named Karen. So this is Karen Shields. And then I had to name this guy too. So he's called Jeff Blades. And they're going to be my 2. So there. Hager says he's already backed the second one. Well, Haggers, that's why we're here, aren't we? Because there's only like 2 days left at the time of this video being live to get involved in Icy, Wintry, whatever. Which I believe is an expansion for the video game. I haven't played the video game. I just quite like the idea. And actually, I like the idea a lot more as well in theory, I think. So when I was... So, this is Monster Hunter World. And we are adventurers who've shown up on a mystical island, not at all provocatively called the New World, where we're going to fight giant monsters and uncover some kind of mystery, I guess. Hager says it's in the Hunter's Arsenal. Well, I didn't buy that, Haggers. I bought the basic pledge, which was just the 2 core boxes, and then I bought that weird peacock that was Kickstarter exclusive. But you can get that through their latest campaign anyway, so I don't really know how exclusive it was. But what I do like about this game, which I didn't even realize, is we all have pet cats. At least I do in the 1 and 2 player game. Although, the game actually refers to itself as being 1 or 2 player, but there's 0 difference between the 2 versions. In the 1 player game, you just play the role of 2 people. And it even says, you know, for anything that refers to player count, pretend you are 2 people. So, it's not true solo. But anyway, that's fine. It's fine. It's not like I'm playing on my own. But anyway, we've arrived at the mystical island of the New World, where we are going to be hunters taking on giant monsters, and then we're going to make weapons and clothes out of their skin. And as far as I can tell, we win by taking down one of the biggest, baddest monsters. At least taking down the biggest, baddest monster in its most difficult form, and then we win. If there's more plot to the video game, I don't know about it, and it's not in the board game anyway. Hager says, you're not alone, you've got us. Yeah, we'll see how much help you guys are, shall we? But thanks, Alessandra. Yes, I was excited for the Karen jokes as well. But anyway, the game is a campaign game, sort of. It is 20 days long, and so it gives you these character sheets with day trackers on the bottom, and then you can use the days to tick things off on the bottom. And so you go through 25 days. I mean, it goes up to 60. I don't necessarily know why it goes up to 60. Once you get through 25 days, the campaign is over. And it's got a whole host of monsters. Each box that I have has 4 monsters in it. So I've got a total of 8 monsters. Although, I guess it's kind of 5, because one of the monsters has a blue version. All of my monsters are grey plastic anyway, but there's a big bad monster, and that monster has 2 different versions. The regular version and the blue version, which is easier, harder, I'm not sure. But you spend your 25 days hunting monsters, go on quests to hunt monsters, and then you wind up back in town where you can use the rewards from your monster hunts to craft new and better equipment and upgrade your characters, and then go out and do it all over again. And the quests come in sort of 3 formats. There's something called the Assignment Quest, which is level 1. You can only do that when you first encounter a monster you haven't seen before, and after that you move on to Investigative Quests, which come in 3 formats. And when you complete a level 4 version of an Investigative Quest, that's when you actually win the game. You have to do a level 4 Investigative Quest, kill that hard monster, and then you're good to go. I think you can actually do most of the monsters at that level. Maybe not this first guy, because he's a big baby, the Great Jargus, but at least some of the other monsters have harder versions. I put their cards away, so I can't tell you. But anyway, that's our hope. We're hoping to escalate our power level to take on the big monster and win the campaign. And so this game, for some backstory, I've got some backstory here, is, according to their stats on BGG, a 60 to 90 minute game, which is a full-on lie. It's probably a 60 to 90 minute session, and it's 25 sessions. The complexity they're given it is 2.9, which is probably about right, actually. One of the positive things I would have to say about this is that it does seem fairly easy to teach, and you could probably pick up quite a lot of it as you go. The designers are Matt Hart, Sherwin Matthews, and Jamie Perkins. The artists are Russ Charles, Thomas Lishman, Doug Telford, Holly Wolford, and the publisher is Steamforged Games. And I haven't bought a Steamforged game for a long time. You might have seen us play Dark Souls and Resident Evil 2 on the show. We were not massively impressed with either. I revisited Dark Souls later with the fan rule set. I still wasn't massively impressed with it. But this looked kind of like another revision of Dark Souls. Now, Steamforged did send me their new Dark Souls core set, which is technically a revised rule set, which I haven't had a chance to look at yet. But I am grateful to Steamforged for the review copy of that, and I will check it out as soon as I have time. But I wanted to cover this because it's live on crowdfunding right now, and this is not a review copy. I bought this. I've also noted here that Matt Hart worked on this, and one of the reasons I was quite positive about the potential for this one is it looks a bit like the boss fights from Dark Souls, except, you know, the Dark Souls demons have been replaced with giant peacocks, and the fights with the little monsters have gone out the window. I've now done the very first fight. I wanted to do the first fight with off show because I wanted to know how to play the game so that I could run the first live stream quite smoothly. And the combat system is quite a bit different to Dark Souls, the board game. There's a lot less dice, and it all kind of focuses around these decks of cards here, attack cards that allow us to do things, and these damage decks that are associated with our weapons as well. And actually, just kind of like the Bloodborne board game, we are actually hunters who are defined by our weapons. So you don't have a class or a race or anything in this. I don't know if you do in the video game. I think you probably do in the video game. In this game, we just have weapons. So this is Two Swords guy, and his whole thing is that he has 2 swords. And this person, they're shield and sword person, and that's their whole thing as well. So you will, although you can upgrade those weapons, you'll never change them. So once you've picked a character, you're sort of locked into that weapon that they're using for the duration of the fight. Now, I've also just read in the rules that apparently I'm not allowed to do the introductory fight against Great Jargus again because I just finished it and I won it. So now I have to progress to Jargus level 2 or do the introduction with another monster. I'm not getting another monster out the box, so I guess we're going to Jargus level 2, which I don't think I'm prepared at all for because I haven't really upgraded much since the first fight. Shield person over here got a slightly better sword, which actually just takes some crummy damage cards out of their deck and puts a slightly better damage card in. And we both of us got some slightly nicer boots than our starting boots because we had really bad starting boots. But these are your characters' equipments down here. And if you're playing the one or in the 2-player game, you also have this little feline companion. Sword and Shield has... You get 2 of these, and you draw 2 cards from a deck of little kitty cat companions, and then you get to pick one. So I didn't have a whole lot of autonomy over what I picked here, but Sword and Shield Lady has this little cat here called, well, this apparently the class of this is Wrath of Meow. And it says if a monster is within 3 nodes of your hunter, so if you're close to the monster, you can draw 3 attack cards as though you're resolving an attack. But on our character sheets, we get to name them. So I named this one Murder Mittens, because it kills things. And then over here on Blades Guy, all he's done is upgrade his boots. So if upgraded boots aren't going to win us the next level fight, we're in trouble. And I drew a little kitty cat called Meowlatov Cocktail, which is actually really good. It says, if the monster is within 1 node of your hunter, place break tokens on one part of the monster up to the part break value, which effectively means just pick one part of the monster, and then it's on the verge of breaking. If you hit it again, it will just break. And because this cat explodes in an explosive fashion, I named it Catastrophe. And yeah, Difter, so far the cats are my favorite part of this. Alessandra says, shouldn't we have called the cats Bonbon? Bonbon's, you know, she'll show up. She might be on the show, and then we'd just get confused. If she showed up and there were cats in the game as well, it would be confusing. So this whole situation down here, very different to Dark Souls. This situation up here, very similar to Dark Souls. And also boss behavior cards. So this is 100% a boss battler. You've got your 25 days of campaign, and you will spend most of it questing. It says in the rulebook it recommends 20 days of questing and 5 days of what they call... I made some notes and I've lost my notes. Oh, where is it? 5 days of what they call downtime activities, which I haven't actually even read the rules for, so go figure. But I don't feel like I need to do any downtime activities, because after I finished the fight, I got to go back to the town and forge a bunch of equipment anyway. Although there are these things called potions, which are absolutely vital, and I lost the only potion I had almost right away, so there you go. But when you're doing the quests, you're doing either an assigned quest or an investigation quest. The assigned quests, again, are sort of about discovering the monsters and their capabilities, and you get 2 attempts at that as well. So actually, if you lose it, you can restart it without losing a whole nother day. But if you do an investigation quest, then you only get 1 attempt, and if you lose it, then you will lose the whole situation, and you'll have to go back to town in failure, and you've basically lost a day. And what we're going to be doing is we are going to have this... So each day of the game, we go through a process of picking a... Where is the... So you've got we've got our gameplay summary here, and we're going to start with what's called a select a quest phase, where we're going to go into the quest book, pick what monster we're going to fight, and all this kind of stuff. Is this a... Can we see it okay here? Maybe. Yeah, so we're going to select a quest. That's, you know, the assignment quest for Great Jargus, for example. You can pick any monster you want. You just can't progress up their difficulty levels until you've done the preceding level. So we couldn't jump straight to the end of, like, Great Jargus level 3. We have to do the assignment quest and then the investigative quests and so forth. So you select a quest, and then you go on what's called a gathering phase, which is actually effectively a little choose-your-own-adventure segment in the booklet. And those are also going to escalate over time, and you can discover things about the monster that might help you in the fight. And then we move into the hunting phase, which is the actual boss battle, where we'll go back and forth with monsters and hunters taking turns until either the monster is slain or the hunters fail. And the hunters can fail primarily by 2 methods that I've seen. Either they faint, so you have 3 feints. So when a hunter faints, they kind of reset and they come back into the fight. But if the hunters faint collectively 3 times, then you fail. Or you've also got a deck of time, and you'll spend time in the gathering phase hunting the monster as well. So the longer the gathering phase takes you, the less you have in the hunting phase, and if you run out of time, you also lose. And then after that, regardless of whether you won or lost, you'll go back to the HQ phase. But if you lost, you won't really have much to do here. And if you won, you'll be able to forge, you'll get some items and forge some equipment. And then you just repeat that until, you know, you win the whole game. But I have no idea how long a campaign is supposed to take. I did one boss fight, and it probably took me about an hour. So, you know, if we're looking at 20 boss fights per campaign, you're looking at a 20-plus hour campaign for this as well. Hager says, what I couldn't find an answer to is how many potions you start with. And I see Jonathan's here as well saying, there are no classes in the computer game or level, it's all about weapons and armor. So I guess that is quite accurate then, that the characters sort of represent those weapons as well. So I didn't start with any potions, but when you start off on the very first mission, it says, if starting the adventure here, the group gains 1 potion. So that's the very first thing it says with the very first mission you do in Ancient Forest. So yeah, exactly, Chadicus. Wash, rinse, repeat. Now, of course, the enemies escalate as we move through the game. What you can see here is introductory Great Jargus, who I defeated. Then we'll move on to level 2 and level 3 Great Jargus. As far as I'm aware, there's no level 4, but there might be, and I just didn't get it out. Oh, it's easy to miss, Heggers. If you're, So this is the quest book. Here, and this is basically the little choose your own adventure bit. It's not really like choose your own adventure in the sense that there's quite a lot of information about what each option is going to give you, and sort of choosing how you do it is going to, you're given quite a lot of information to help you make decisions, but ultimately it's still going to have some randomness. But if we do jump into here, there is these numbered chapters all through here, and each numbered chapter has a number at the top. Whew. Let's see if we can actually get this on camera. I think that'll be a bit of a miracle, but we'll try. So each numbered chapter just has a number at the top, and then it's got some text here, and then some flavor text, and then the choices down here, and the outcomes of those choices as well, and that'll direct you to another chapter. And so right up at the top here, it says this is a starting point, which means you'll start a quest here, and 1 is the very first quest of the very first monster in this box, and then it says, when you start here, get a potion. So that's how I started with 1. But of course, you know, other starting points might have other methods. It also says, for example, if you're doing level 2 Jargus, I think that's repeatable. I'm not sure. I think level 2 Jargus is repeatable because it has multiple starting points. So if you're fighting the assignment, you'll always start at paragraph 1. But if you're doing Great Jargus level 2, you'll start at 2. And then you can start at 3, 4, 5, and 6, I think are all starting points for that level of monster. So it looks like that kind of escalates. What I found oddly hard to find actually in the rules, Heggers, speaking of that, was how many hit points we start with. And it looks like you start with 8, and you always start with 8, and you always have 8 hit points when you're on full health, and that doesn't really change throughout the whole game, because the dial doesn't go above 8 anyway. Which I thought was, like, oddly hard to find in the rules, anything about that. Just because it's a little unintuitive, like, you always start with the same amount of health, and it doesn't tell you anywhere what your sort of default health is or anything. Or it does tell you somewhere that you start with 8, but unlike other RPGs, I just thought it'd sort of make it clearer that, 8 is the maximum, you never go above 8, you'll always reset to 8, and 8 is the amount of health you have unless you take damage, and then you'll have less. But it says, whenever you drink a potion, you go back up to full health, which is always 8. And it doesn't say go back up to 8 health. Anyway, that aside, we can talk about the rulebook later. Right now, we're here to hunt Great Jargus level 2. So, the day 2 of our mission begins with the Ancient quest book. And we go to the first section here, Great Jagras. Have I been calling it Jargus? I'm going to keep calling it Jargus. A gluttonous... Oh, actually, there's some text here. I should read you the story, just in case you're not familiar with the video game and you don't know why on earth we're even here in the Ancient Forest or what we're doing. Now, there was some flavor text. And this refers to a bunch of stuff that I don't understand, so I won't be able to explain it to you. But maybe chat will give us some helpful hints and tips if they know the game. Welcome, hunters of the Fifth Fleet. After an eventful trip across the ocean, you've arrived safe and sound on a mysterious continent known only as the New World. Well, you're safe for the moment, at least, And that brings us to your purpose. Long ago, the Hunters Guild sent an elite organization known as the Research Commission to investigate this uncharted land and uncover its secrets. You will now join that commission with a simple task: to protect the scholars and engineers working together to explore, research, and understand their new home. Rich and biodiverse, the New World is made up of distinct inhabitants, each one home to distinct habitats, each one home to monsters beyond your imagination. One such habitat is the Ancient Forest, a lush jungle teeming with life and rich resources. It might even be described as paradise, were not for the monsters within. As an A-list hunter, it is your job to protect the Commission from these monsters. Greedy Great Jagras, Electric Toby Katachai, Fiery Anjanathan, and the Winged King of the Skies, Rathalos, huge primordial beasts that have ruled this place since the dawn of time. But that time has now come to an end. The Fifth Banner promises a change in the wind, and it's your job to fulfill that promise by killing them all and turning them into hats. Good. So we know what we're doing here. We understand our job. And now we are hunting the first of our beasts here, the Great Jagras. And so this says, a gluttonous creature infamous for attacking monsters even bigger than itself when hungry. It balloons to enormous proportions after each gigantic meal. Beware a crushing defeat. So I guess this is a bit like a snake lizard. Here it can be seen swallowing something whole, something big, and it's got a big bloated belly. Our miniature does not have such a belly. It's still a hungry Jagras, waiting to eat. So, we're moving on to the investigation quest, which gives us 30 time cards, which I think is going to be kind of a problem because I had 35 time cards in my previous mission, and I probably lost about 4 of them dilly-dallying, so I found the creature really quickly, I think. It felt like it could have been much longer. And so I went into the fight with probably about 30 cards, and I only had 4 left, so I wasted a good large number of my cards just kind of messing around. I also got really lucky. Like, there's a lot of dice rolls I had to make that could go 50-50 in my favor or 50-50 against me, and I won all those dice rolls. So I'm really not confident about going to level 2 of this fight, having just upgraded my pants. I really would have liked to upgrade the Dual Blades weapon, specifically because the Dual Blade has this card called like Demon Blade, where if you play it into the first spot on this stamina track, and I'll talk a bit about this once we get into the fight, but this is, you know, a track of cards here, and if you play the Demon Blades into the first spot here, every combat card you lay out after it does additional damage, but I couldn't ever get to the top of this track to do it. So it's very difficult to set up, and I never once managed. So I was hoping to upgrade his weapons and maybe make that combo easier to pull off or something, but it didn't happen. So anyway, we're going to deal out 30 of these cards. I think there's 40, so I'll just take 10 out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm going to have to count them. Maybe there's more. There is 45 cards in this deck. So that's 15 cards out of the deck. This is our time deck for this game. Alright, now, it says Scout Fly level is 3 to 6. I don't know what Scout Flies are. I think it's another thing from the video game. Something to do with little flies that live in the forest and give us hints or something. I don't know. But don't worry, because what I do understand is tracking tokens. And what we need is tracking tokens at least 3, ideally 6, I think. We'll see. Anyway, we get to start at point 2. So I'll just read you. I'll just do this as story time. Okay. Bear in mind, I have no potions, so hopefully it'll say right now that I get a potion at the start of this or I'm in trouble. Investigation 1, starting point. If starting the adventure here, the group gains 2 potions. Okay, thank God. Right, I'm going to write that down right away. Where is my administrator? Karen's the administrator. I just feel like with the shield, she's the sort of backbone of this team. I feel like Jeff's just a total wild card with his 2 swords. So all of the inventory is on her sheet. You'll find you get lots of animal parts that you're going to turn into hats. And so you record all of that on this sheet here as an inventory. Each player is supposed to have their own, but players can change all the ingredients back and forth completely freely. They can also swap armor back and forth. So armor items are pretty universal. What you can't change is weapons. So if you can convert the items into weapons, then those are locked into the specific character. So I've just decided to make Karen the holder of the inventory here. And now she's also got 2 health potions. There we go. Those will be enormously helpful. Scout flies are on the hunter. They help them track the monster. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks for that. I don't really understand that, if I'm honest. So are they like bugs that we train? Are they like our pets? Do they work with the cats? Is it telling I'm playing? I always kind of fancy the idea of playing this game, but I just don't have time. Which is maybe why I bought the board game. Who knows? Maybe I also like boss battlers. We'll see. A great Jagras is on the loose. The last week has presented you with plentiful evidence. Dozens of corpses ripped apart in a frenzy and left half-eaten. This will be a hunt to test even the most experienced of trackers. You've heard of Jagras consuming hunters in a single bite. That won't be you. Each hunter gains 1 great Jagras claw. Okay, just go update my by inventory. Oh, great. I already have 3 of these. Now I've got 5. I don't need that many great Jagras claws. No, I couldn't do anything with them, or I would have made something. Lucard helps, saying they're an insect version of bloodhounds. They're magical radar flies that are neon path to the nearest monster track. Okay, so they sort of go out into the forest and help you track down the parts of the monster. Cool. So, we've got 3 options here. And chat, you're more than welcome to jump in and help out, if you like. So, hit the trail running, gain 1 track token and progress to another entry. Stay and dig around in the remains. This will cost us a time, but we will get some medium monster bones. Or race to where your prey was last seen. Spend 5 time cards and go straight to another entry. So, do we want to... I think we probably want to spend a bit of time looking for ingredients and things here, because there were some ingredients I needed to make things that you just don't get from killing monsters. Or maybe the higher level monsters, actually, I don't know. Did you say chat or Chad? No, Chad, specifically you. I'm calling you out specifically. I need your help. What do I do? Oh, Light of Hand, sorry, yes, Matthew, of course. Matthew's been on the show before. When are you coming back, Matthew? We have plenty of games to play. Sorry, I'm getting my internet handles confused. Well, if you all don't want to stand around and dig through the remains of the monsters parts, I'm gonna make an executive decision here. Digging around in the remains. Discard a time card. Everyone gets a medium monster bone, and then we go on to the next entry. Hopefully, medium monster bones are useful. But that costs us 1 of our time cards. So, in this case, we just take 1 of the time cards and we just set it aside. Moving on. The brush nearby contains another corpse, another dead Aptonoth. But it might be worth examining further. Gleaning any details about the great Jagras might be invaluable later. Spend some time cleaning the bones off so you can take them with you. Discard 2 time cards. Get a large monster bone and a great Jagras scale. Or, we've spent enough time here already. Oh no, we should have done the other option. I think gathering the stuff is actually really useful. From my 2 time cards is quite expensive. I probably wouldn't want to spend much more time than 3, but I'm quite happy to spend 3, especially to get some large monster bones. So I think we should probably do that. Unless you're playing the arena mode. Harris, what are you talking about arena mode? That's not a thing, is it? Does this have any other mode, or just the, Is there actually an arena mode? Oh yeah, for those who don't wish to play the full campaign, arena quests are a single session version of the experience. In playing an arena quest, you take preset weapons. Once the monster's slain, you've won the game. To play an arena quest, turn to the arena section of the quest book. Starting on page 10 of this rulebook. Skip the gather. Oh, okay, so it's literally just a monster fight with a preset campaign. Well, that's quite good, actually. That, You can also, says here, you can also play an Explorer campaign where you have infinite days. If you don't like the pressure of trying to level up. Haggers, don't sass me about reading the rulebook. Try to get to the show on the go before the campaign ends. That's it. Y'all sassing me. We're getting some monster bones because I want to do it. So I get some large monster bones, and we have to discard 2 time cards, and we get 1 Jagras scale. Cool. So, and then we have to get rid of 2 time cards. And go to the next section. Small Jagras erupt from the brush, surrounding and snapping at you with desperate hunger. You're overwhelmed, and for a moment think you might be dragged under. Your training gets you through, though, driving the pack away and giving you a moment to breathe. But they're about to attack again. Fight off the pack, or flee through the undergrowth. Fight off the pack. Discard 2 time cards. Each hunter suffers a damage. Then you gain a sharp claw. Or fight through the undergrowth. Discard a time card and go to entry 29. Oh, that's tough. I'm tempted to pick flee through the undergrowth just because we lose less time. I'm not particularly bothered about the sharp claw. I mean, I don't know if that's... I mean, that is different to the Jagras claw. I have got 5 Jagras claws now. Jargus. I've written Jargus everywhere. So yeah, let's flee through the undergrowth. It only costs 1 time, so that's better, I think. Do you want Mike to cheat again? When do I cheat? I never cheat. How dare you? Okay. The carcass you've stumbled upon is impossibly old. Older than mankind, you're sure. A creature long forgotten, but still, even in death, magnificent. Your breath catches in your throat as you imagine the battles this creature must have fought. Reverently take a bone before leaving. Discard a time and gain an ancient bone, or leave this tranquil scene undisturbed. Discard a time card and shuffle an ancient guardian card into the time deck. Oh, I think I needed the ancient bones to make something. These are your crafting charts. So these are all the different armors you can make, and these are all the different weapons you can make. And so you get a crafting chart for each class of character. And then they're habitat specific. So this is specifically the crafting chart for Sword and Shield hunter in the ancient forest. Matthew says you can use sharp claws to upgrade weapons in the video game. Yeah, that's actually probably quite smart. I should have thought of that. Yeah, they're needed for some of the more advanced weapons. Actually, I can see here. What did I need the ancient bone for? Oh, maybe it was for armor. Yeah, I needed it for the helmet, the better helmets. I wanted those because my helmet sucks. My helmet is literally, might as well not be a helmet. It's 0. 0 armor, offers nothing. Might as well not exist. So I was thinking it'd be good to have some helmet. To be fair, the leather pants I had were also terrible. So... yeah, so let's take the ancient bones, I guess. I do like the idea of shuffling the ancient Guardian's time card into the deck. I am concerned now about the amount of time I've got. But at least if I get the ancient bones, I've got them and I can do something useful with that. So we write that down in our little administrative thing here. Oh, there it is. Ancient Bone 2. Okay. Then we have to discard another time card. Just when you're about to lose heart, you come across a pile of great Jagras dung left in the wake of your prey. It may be a grisly sight, but it fills your heart with hope as you head for a clearing ahead. No time to look back. Discard a time card, gain 3 tracking tokens, and progress to the next entry, or... wait, listen! Is that something behind us? Okay, so do we want to get some tracking tokens? They are helpful, I think. Basically, we've got these 3 cards here, and based on the number of tracking tokens we gather and the Scoutfly level of the encounter, we'll have to put one of these into the deck. And I think the more tracking tokens that we have, the less harsh the card is. But the bottom option, wait, listen, is that something behind us, implies A, that if something's sneaking up on us, we can catch it. But also, furthermore, it doesn't cost a time like the top one does. And I'm conscientious I've now discarded 5 time, which actually would mean I would have run out of time in the first fight. And this Jagras has more health, and I haven't upgraded. I've talked myself into entry 30. Any major objections? No? Good. Option 30 it is then. Page 30. Sorry, entry 30. A deafening roar is your only warning as you suddenly find yourself face to face with your prey. Now is the time to fight this terrifying adversary. Reveal your track tokens and check your Scoutfly level, and then head to the hunting phase. Okay, so... looks like I'm adding forward roll to the deck because I have no tracking tokens. Alright. Edgar says, that went south fast. Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually looked at all of these behavior cards. There's forward roll. So these are all the enemy behavior cards. They're different attacks. I don't know how bad they are. I don't know how good they are. But that one goes shuffled into the deck. The other 2 go back into the game box, or in this case, just over there for now. So, are things on fire already then? No, Morganite, it's all good. It's fine. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. So, what we've got here is an enemy card. And so, there's a lot of iconography on here, but you can see the name of the attack at the top. And then the 2 main things you're looking at are the 2 things that look like D-pads in the middle. The one on the left of this card with the 3 in the north position, that's movement. And this is showing that this is going to move 3 towards you. Sometimes this iconography is on the right, which means it attacks first and then moves. But when it's like this, on the left, it means it moves first, then attacks. And so then you've got on the right side here, The attack, when it's golden like that, that means it's non-elemental, so it's physical damage. Your armor will protect you. The 7 is the amount of damage you take. In the top right, you can see that this is coming out of its front arc. In the top left, it's a range 1, so it's got to attack nodes next to it. And in the bottom left, 3 is the amount of agility you need to avoid the attack. Now, the amount of stuff we get to do on our turn are the icons on the far right. So the top blue is two hunter turns. So after this attack, 2 hunters will get to do something, and in this case it will be each of my hunters because I've only got 2. And then underneath that is the amount of cards each of them can play, attack cards each of them can play on their turn, 2. On the far left is the target. The eyeball means the furthest away hunter, and if it's a red target, it's the closest hunter. So once you understand that iconography, it's pretty straightforward to sort of do the turns. And then you've got here iconography on the back of the card that tells you something about it as well. So this is the card we just saw, and you can see the eyeball here is telling me that this is going to target the furthest hunter. And then there's a symbol on the right that's a body symbol. I don't really know what that's telling me fundamentally. Maybe about the way it's facing or something, or that it's going to attack forward. I've not really decoded that icon yet, really. If it's 3 or more, does that mean 1 hunter will get to act twice? Yes, Heggers. In a game with 2 hunters, if you had 3 turns, 1 hunter would do 2 turns. But they would have to alternate. So they would both be active at the start, then one would go, the other would go, and then it would go either one after that. Because after they've both gone, all of them will reset. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to set its hit points to 60, which is a lot of hit points. And also, I'm going to draw 5 cards for each of my hunters. I'm going to put them down here where you guys can't see them at all. Which is a shame, but don't worry, I will be explaining, showing and explaining. Alright. Good. So, now we also need the quest book to set up for the map. Which actually we can set up before the we even find the Great Jargus. I don't know why I didn't have it set up. These are bushes. We can hide in bushes to reduce our threat. And there's also some pawns, which we want to avoid. I don't think Great Jargus cares about pawns, but we do. Here we go. Pawns all up that side of the board there. Stay away, pawns. So, the bushes, the monster doesn't care at all about. We can hide in the bushes to reduce our threat if we don't want it to target us. But of course, if we do that, it just targets our friend. And the water, I believe, reduces our movement. I don't know if it bothers Great Jargus. The water wasn't there in the baby scenario that I just played. So, the pond. When a hunter enters the pond, they must discard a card from their damage deck. For any reason, they must discard a card from their damage deck. Okay, interesting. Ponds don't bother monsters. So one of the interesting things about this game, actually, is that we both have damage decks here, which are made up based on our weapons, so they have an uneven number of cards, and those cards are numbered 1 to 4 for the damage we do. When you deal damage, you'll draw a number of cards, sum it up, deal that much damage to the monster. But if the deck runs out, then you can't deal any more damage until you take like a timeout turn and sharpen your weapon. So there's sort of these periodic downtimes that you have to take. What did the level 1 monster have for HP? Matthew, it had 50. But that's not my primary concern. My primary concern is that this one's got armor. I mean, not that much armor, but you can see in its body part sections here, it's got three little bits of iconography here. This is telling you where the body part is. So its head is its front arc. It's got 0 armor on its head and 4 break points. So if we deal 4 break points worth of damage to its head, then it suffers the penalty below. And so you can see over here on its body, which is actually the back arc of the monster, then it has 1 armor, so damage is reduced by 1. And the same with its hands, which I don't know if I can get on the green screen here. Yeah, its hands has 1 armor as well. So the one I fought before only had 1 armor on its body, and so it was much easier to do damage to it, whereas this one's armored everywhere but the head. So that's concerning. Right, now I just want to check what happens if I stun a monster. The dodge value of the monster's next attack is 1, and can't be increased or decreased by any other effect. Okay, that's quite useful. We'll learn about dodging in a minute, because I will have to dodge every attack, because I have 2 armor, and most of its attacks do like 7 damage, and I only have 8 health. So, quite frankly, that's a nightmare. Okie dokie, so it starts up here facing forward, and I get to start in here or here or here, I think. Yeah, back row, corners, or I mean, all I know right now is that it's got an eyeball here, which means it's going to target the hunter furthest from it, and it's got a head. Whatever that means. I guess it's going to do an attack in its front arc. So I'm thinking, if it's going to attack the hunter furthest from it, maybe we put Blade Guy over here, and Jeff over here, and Karen over here, so that it's still only 2 nodes. It doesn't really matter whether she's here, because that's 1, 2. Or here, because that's still 1, 2. But, and actually we want to be hitting its head, really, if we have a choice. So maybe she goes here. That gives Jeff a chance to sort of attack from the side. Hopefully the monster doesn't have some kind of awful attack thing. Lucard says, don't you hate it when your bow doesn't deal any damage anymore and you have to sharpen it? Yes. 100% yes. I hate it when my arrows are all blunt. I have to stop and sharpen all my arrows. I mean, I guess you could maybe try to imagine that actually it's your character taking a turn to pick up arrows that they've dropped. But, yeah, it's still, I guess, a little bit of a reach, maybe. Anyway, here we go. Here's dramatic fighting angle. And so we start always with the monster. So it's the monster's turn first. And so we're going to flip this card here and see what it does. So, oh god, I hate this. Oh, this is terrible. Yep, no, this is the worst. Oh god, this is really the worst. Okay, Spit Up. This is probably its worst attack. So this is it's going to attack first. It's actually got range 4, which means it's going to hit both of them, the characters. It attacks in every direction. And so I just need to make... I'm just going to double check that iconography, but I'm pretty sure this is just range 4 hits everyone. I mean, I guess that if it plays that card now, at least it doesn't play it later. Attack node. Yeah, is it straight lines, though? What I'm trying to... I mean, it's definitely going to hit poor Karen, just spitting straight forward, but it might not hit... Jeff, because he's at a funny angle, because if it's coming out of straight lines from its nodes, it just doesn't quite get him because he's at a slightly funny angle. Let me see what it says here about that arc. This monster will attack its target and any other hunters positioned on the same node. Oh, okay, so it actually attacks the entire node. Yeah, so I guess that's one thing I should mention about the movement, actually. You can see the nodes. The monster occupies an entire node. Nothing can exist on the monster's node with it. If it moves into a node with another thing, it's pushed out. Hunters can absolutely coexist on the same node. That's absolutely fine. There's no limit to the number of hunters on a node, so they can all just hang out together. The main thing is that you can tell what node that they're on. Okay, that's fine. So it spits at... actually, it spits at the furthest one. They're both equidistant, so it's going to be highest threat. And I forgot to give out threat tokens. So here we go. So we'll do Karen's threat token first, which will be this one. So that's a 7 for Karen. Not looking good, but there is an 8 in here as well. And Jeff's got the 8! So I guess Jeff's getting spat at. So yeah, actually it's targeting Jeff. Should have hidden in the bush, Jeff. So, this is going to be 5 damage with no armor resistance because this is an elemental attack, which we know from the blue icons on the radial around the 5. And that tells us also what kind of damage it is. Oh, I do actually have resistance against this damage type, which I guess is water or something. I have resistance 1 because of my boots that I made out of the one of these I killed moments ago. So that would be just 4 damage. So I could decide to take 4 damage on Jeff, or I could dodge the attack. Now the agility value is 4, and I don't think that there's anything modifying that at the moment. There isn't. So each card... Here's Demon Mode, the thing I couldn't get to trigger to save my life. So each card has an agility value on it, which is in the top right. Now that means on your turn, you can play it for this value for movement, or on a monster's turn, you can play it for this value to dodge attacks. So in this case, I'd have to play 2 cards of value 2 or 4 cards of value 1 or any combination in order to dodge the spit up. And then I can also move up to that value. So I can then move up to 4 once I'm done. Matthew says water. Yep, it is a water attack. Well, we could just use this dodge to get close to it, and then we could use our catastrophe, our little friend, to try to break it. It says here, each time this monster deals 1 or more damage to a hunter, it regains 1 lost health, which is fine right now because it hasn't lost any health. And then it says, while this monster has at least 1 broken body part, this monster gains +1 damage, and its attacks are +1 harder to dodge. So maybe we want to try get some break tokens on it before we go and just break parts of it. I do like the idea of damaging its claws, which says, behaviors that use the claws have -1 movement. That's nice. So yeah, let's go ahead and play Demon Mode face down here for 2 agility. And we'll play Round Slash face down here for 2 agility as well. So that's 2 cards, both with 2 agility on, which gives us the 4, which is going to allow us to dodge the 4 attack, and we get to move 4 nodes on the main game board. I don't see why we wouldn't want to use this opportunity to get closer to the creature. And if we go 1, 2 into the bush, this will reduce our threat, meaning it will now target Karen, which is nice. And also, this means we're in its front and side arc, so we can choose to attack either. And it might be a little bit hard to see on the top-down camera here, but you can definitely see on this camera here the lines on the base that denote the different arcs. So here you can see it's facing straight forward, and there's a line here which shows that we are actually directly facing that line, so in both of these 2 arcs. And now that we've resolved its attack, we get 2 turns. So I've got 2 poker chips here that I'm going to use to help me track our turns. And we also get 3 card plays per turn. So I'm going to use these yellow ones for card plays. So that's one turn there. This is the other turn right here. And that comes from the information down here on this card here. So, good. Now, what is the plan? After each character's turn, we'll flip over a time card, and the character will sort of get to do... We'll get some regeneration, but on a character's turn, we're picking to do either one of two things. We're either doing combat actions, and I've made a player aid here. One could argue that this should have come in the game as a card, but never mind. So we've got two options. We can do a combat turn, where we do combat actions. We can play the combat cards from our hand for attacks, and then we get a free walk, where we can step one node on the board, and we can sprint, where we play cards face down to move, just like dodge, except we're not dodging an attack, we're just moving. So it's the exact same thing. You just look at the agility value and move that far. The advantage of walk is that it doesn't cost us a card, we don't have to play a card, but we only get to move one space. Or you can do what's called a preparation turn. The main thing you get to do on your preparation turn is sharpen your weapon. So you can reset your damage deck and start doing damage again if it's run out, or you can reset it preemptively as well. You also get to do a walk on your preparation turn, and you can still sprint on your preparation turn as well, which is spend cards for movement. You can also use a potion if you have any left. Now we have 2 potions, which is nice. I didn't have any in the other fight, so that's good. And the potions allow us to clear off the stamina board, so all the cards on the stamina board go, which is really helpful, and you'll see why as we play through. But you also get to recover all 8 of your hit points and shuffle your action card deck. Now, your action card deck will shuffle when you deplete it anyway, but it might help you get back to really good cards that you want to find. Like, some of the action cards are just better than others. So, you know, if you've got a lot of them in the discard, you'll be able to find them quicker. Oh, Paul says Jaggers needs to move. That's absolutely true. Now, it is going to move 2 steps backwards. So we did move 1, 2, 3 with Jeff. Let's move 4. We did get 4 movement because of the 4 agility we spent. And then, yeah, Great Jagras is actually going to go 1, 2 backwards. That's a pain. Now we're far away from it. Its next attack will attack the closest person as well, which is just Jeff again. Poor Jeff. Oh, damn. This was the opposite of what I wanted. You have to try to remember. If you see farthest target with face, that means it's going to do a spit up and then retreat. Okay, that's fine. So let's use Jeff first, and I think we should probably just run up to it and start smacking it. That's my plan. We'll see if it works. But here's my move token. So I'm going to go 1 up to here. That's my free move that we just discussed. And now I am in the same sort of position I was in before. It's just the creature's backed up against the wall. So, by the way, when you see... oh! This is interesting. This is wrong. Rewind. Let's stay here. But the creature's here. Now, we know it's going to move 2 away, but it moves 2 away from the target, and the target's moved. So we're over here. So it actually turns to face us, and then backs up 2. 1, 2. Okay. Don't worry, I'm getting the hang of this. We'll do it correctly. Thank you, Paul, by the way. If I'm making any more mistakes, please do call me out in chat. I'd rather demonstrate it correctly and admit my failures than play incorrectly. But yeah, so the movement is always focused on the target, and when the movement's on the back of the D-pad like this, that means it moves away from the target. If it was in the north position, it would move towards the target, and if it was left and right, it would move left and right, bearing in mind that it kind of does an odd circle motion, because before and after movement, it always changes its facing to look at the target. So, right. Well, this puts Karen in quite a good position. Maybe we should act with her first. Yeah, we might get some free movement out of the time card as well. The time cards do all kinds of things. So, Let's go ahead and act with Karen first. So I'll give her my little stack of poker chips that help me track actions. And I'm going to spend one of her movement for her turn to dash over here into the creature's side arcs here. So now we're still in its front arc, and also, in this case, its right arc, because we're on the line again. We're in the node that's on the line. And then we've got some cards here. So I quite like the idea of using Shield Bash. This is an attack card. So you can see all of the cards kind of have a name at the top, the action that they are. They've also got an agility next to that. So they can always be spent for their agility, which is movement or dodge. And then they've got maybe an attack across the middle here. The line is important, but if it's a yellow line like this, and pretty much all the starter cards are, then it just means you play it face up. It costs some stamina. Takes a place on your stamina row. There's spots for 5 cards on the stamina row. This is going to do 1 damage, so I'll draw 1 card from the damage deck and deal that much damage. And it will also cause stun to the creature, which means its next attack will have a dodge value of 1, no matter what its actual dodge value reads. It also says you may discard this attack card after placing it in your stamina board. So that means it doesn't actually cost stamina, which is nice. This down here, that's the range. So I have to be next to it in order to hit it with this. So that's cool. Let's do that. Let's start with a Shield Bash. So you can see here there's spots for 5 cards, and they move sort of left to right as it fills up, and then it'll move back to the left. And ideally we want it here because, as you can see here, in order to dodge, I had to have 2 free slots. If I was unable to play these cards in here, I wouldn't have been able to dodge. I would have had to take the damage. Ouch. So that's a Shield Bash. We'll do 1 damage from Karen's damage deck, which is 1. Go figure. So that is also on its... I should have declared I was attacking its head, which was my intention, but in this case it doesn't matter. It's got 1 armor on its claws and body, but damage cannot be reduced below 1. So in this case the 1 damage would still go through, but I would have picked the head in case I'd drawn something better than a 1 anyway. So we'll do 1 damage, so it's down to 59, and so we begin the long road to 0. And additionally, we get to put a stun token on it to reduce its next attack. So that comes out, and it just goes into this little spot here. Good job, Karen. And then, just like the card says, we will discard this card for sure because we want to keep the slots on our stamina board here free. But that's card play 1 of 3. So what am I going to do with these other cards? I've got Guard Up. This is 3 defense. While this attack card is face up in your stamina board, your resistances are doubled. At the start of your next turn, discard this card. I like that. We've got Advancing Slash. Move 2 in any direction, and then do 1 damage attack, and draw +1 damage card if you play Backstep this turn, which I haven't played. I haven't even got it. Additionally, this has a break symbol, so you'll see next to the range there's a break symbol. When we hit with this attack, we put 1 break token on the part of the creature we attacked. We've also got this card Chop, which is a pretty shitty attack, but it's got 2 agility on it. And Karen doesn't have a whole lot of agility. All of her other ones are 1. But we just stunned it, so we can probably dodge its next thing. So I think we should just sit here and wail on it. This Slingshot has a range 2, but we're right there, so we might as well. I think we should just hit it with the Slingshot as well. And that is 1 more damage. And my last move, I think, will just be... Do I use the Chop? Thing is, I don't really want to use the Advancing Slash because I kind of want to keep it for the movement. The movement's just going to be really handy. So, in the effort to keep going, I'll just hit it with Chop as well. 2 damage. Huzzah. So, down to 6. And that means we're all out of card plays. So, Karen's turn is over. And we draw a time card. Threat Shift. Flip your hunter tokens face down. Flip your hunter token face down. So this always happens. That's just to show that Karen's had her turn, and she can't go again until all the tokens flip up, which will be when they're all face down. And it says, discard one attack card from the rightmost slot of your stamina board. This always happens too. It's just you're slowly recovering your health. So one card goes into the discard. It's always the rightmost. Discard any number of attack cards from your hand. That's in case I have some I don't want, but I'm going to keep the 2 I have. And then draw back up to 5. So these, again, are steps that are universal to every time card. So that always happens. You always get to go back up to 5 cards and have an opportunity to discard down if you have some you don't want. Here's another kind of attack card here. So you can see this is a sword and shield combo, and this has a stamina end on it. And all that means is that when you play this into your attack row, then your turn is immediately over. I can't remember what that 2 means. I'm going to have to look that up. But that just means this ends your turn. So you want to play this as the last card that you've got, if you can. And then finally, this bottom part here is the text that's unique to the time cards. So this one's called Threat Shift. And what this one does is, all players pass their hunter token to the left. The facing of the hunter token does not on each hunter should now match the facing of their previous token. So what this is saying basically is that even though Karen is still unable to play next, she's now got the 8. So the 8 goes face down like her 7, and the 7 goes face up. So effectively we're just swapping who the creature's target's going to be. And this goes into the discard. And now it's going to be time for Jeff's turn. But first, let me look up what that 2 means on that card, or I'm going to forget. And then I'm going to... Combo symbol. Yes, remind me what that means. I'm already feeling good about this, guys. I think we're going to be completely fine. I don't see how it could possibly go wrong. I mean... honestly, completely flawless. Can't possibly go wrong. Definitely completely fine. Right, here we go. Right, so the combo symbol is the number of face-up attack cards you must have on the stamina board in order to play this card. So effectively, you've got to have 2 face-up attack cards already in your stamina row. I don't think it doesn't say they have to be adjacent or anything. But obviously that would preclude Jeff because his are face down, not face up. Yep. Chadika says, nice jinx. No, guys, can't jinx it. It's easy. It's going to be easy. Completely fine. Alright, so that's the end of Karen's turn. Now it's time for Jeff. Jeff is very far away. This is a shame. Jeff doesn't even have any ranged attacks. The next attack is definitely going to hit Karen because she's the closest and she has the highest threat now. Unless the next card is a threat shift, which it could be. But let's see. Can we get close? We can probably. 1, 2, 3. We need to get up to its face. So we can play 6-fold slash for 2 agility. So that goes in face down, and then we spend our movement as well. Jeff has a really useful card called Feint, which allows him to discard cards from his stamina row, which we absolutely will need to find if we want to not... if we want to be able to continue to play cards. But that gets us 3 movement, so let's go 1, 2, 3 up to here. And now we are hiding in the creature's... very far away from the action cam. Hiding in the creature's flank and face on the other side. And we're going to hit it for... God, this makes this epic battle look tiny. Don't change the miniatures for dramatic facing. It's not like... That's not allowed. But I only actually have 2 cards left anyway. Which is fine, because I only have 2 card plays. So do we play 2 cards? Oof. Yeah, I want to start trying to break its face, because that's... Actually, I don't really care about breaking its face. but both my cards are 2... Yeah, so we're going to hit it in the face. And the reason is both of my cards are 2 damage, so I don't want to draw like 2 and then have be hitting it in the armor. If I break its face, all of its attacks become physical instead of elemental, which is useful because I only have 1 elemental resistance, but I have 2 physical armor. But it's not as useful as if I break its body, it takes 5 damage, and if I break its claws, it has 1 less movement on certain attacks, which is good. So that was 1 card for agility, and then my next 2 card plays, I think I'm just going to use Bladed Fangs to hit it in the face. So we get to take a break token and put that on its face, and that's because there's a break symbol on the card. And then we draw 2 damage cards as well to see how much we do. So there's a 1 and a 1, so that's 2 more damage. It's down to 54. And then we'll just go again with Blade Dance. Now this is a little scary because I filled up all of... I'm going to take this down here. Karen's action card deck. That we filled up all of Jeff's stamina track, but we're banking on the fact that A, it's going to attack Karen, and B, I'll get to take 1 card off of it. And actually, we've also stunned it, so its next attack will have a dodge value of 1 anyway, so we'll probably be able to play 1 card to dodge it. Right, so that's all 3 of our card plays. We do get to do 1 more attack, and it's got break on it as well. So there's our break token, and our next 2 damage, which is a 1 and 1. Jeff's got terrible damage cards for his 2 swords. But c'est la vie. Alright, cool. So that's the end of his turn. We're going to do another time card. Poison Cup. So we'll just do that little bit of admin first. It's the same every time. So this Hunter token goes face down. After the time card resolves, if all the Hunter tokens are face down, they all flip face up again. So if I had a 3rd turn, then either one of them could take it. And that would be my choice. But anyway, what we'll do is we will discard this card here into Jeff's action card discard, which will have to be over here because I'm running out of table space. Then I can discard a number of cards from my hand. Jeff has 0 cards in hand, so we're going to draw 5 new ones. And we've got some nice 2 agility cards because he's quite fast. Demon Mode comes back. Demon Mode, if I could just get this to trigger, I'm going to try to figure out some way to get this to trigger. It says, if this attack card is placed in the first slot of your stamina board, draw 2 extra damage for each other attack card you play this turn, which inflicts damage. So, thanks, Matthew. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. Good to hear from you. Hope you found this little introduction here interesting as well. Cards not placed face up on the board do not count against the played limit. Demon Mode or movement cards. No, I think, I'm not sure if Paul Dale says cards not placed face up on the board do not count against the play limit, and Paul Dale says face down rather. Okay, but I think this one definitely does, because otherwise why would it have the stamina bar on it? Right, like there are cards that have abilities on, but they don't feature a stamina bar, and those ones you definitely just discard. But I still think they count towards the play limit. Maybe I'm playing it horribly wrong. During your turn, you may play attack cards face down from your hand onto your stamina board to move your hunter. This is called sprinting. Attack cards played to sprint don't count towards the maximum allowed by the monster behavior card. Okay. Specifically sprinting then? Let us find where it says about resolving effects. But good shout, Paul. Faint doesn't. You're correct. Face up does count. Okay, so I think Demon Mode does... Move doesn't. Yeah, so Demon Mode does count. Because it's played face up into the stamina row. But Faint doesn't count because it's not played face up into the stamina row. Okay, cool. Nice one. We will discuss these nuances as we continue. But that means that I do have 1 more card play then. But it was fine. I was out of cards, so I couldn't use it. So I spent 2 of them on dodge. Alright, so I've drawn back up to 5. So now what we're going to do is we're going to resolve the Poison Cup, which says, roll a die, and on a 1 to 3, place a poison token on the monster's card. On a 4 to 6, your hunter suffers poison. Uh-oh. I really hope I get a 1 to 3. Here we go. Hooray! That's good. Nice one. Alright, so we've poisoned the monster. Or rather, we've forced the monster to stand on some poisoned thing somewhere here in the arena. So now it's stunned and poisoned. Ha! Take that, Jargus. And that means that the monster will lose 2 health at the end of its next turn. Haha! Okay, cool. So that's the end of all my jams anyway, because I'm all out of turns. So both of these guys are going to... We've resolved a time card. They're both face down, so they'll both go face up. And then it's time for a monster card. And the monster draws... Belly roll... Oh, shit. Belly roll left. This looks horrible. So... In this case, it's going to move 1 to the left. How is that possible? It's going to target... It's going to face its target, which is... Oh, no. I said for sure it's going to target Karen, but what it's going to do is it's going to change its facing to Karen and then roll left onto Jeff. How has this been allowed to happen? Well, actually what it's going to do is it's going to move left, which is going to push Jeff out. And Jeff gets pushed out in... Paul says, the rules for this are still easier than Europa Universalis. And that is true. Yeah, it's true. So Jeff gets pushed out into the nearest node. I think I just pick one. But the monster's going to move in here, which pushes Jeff. I think it actually has to be the nearest node in the arc that he was facing him when he was pushed. Adjacent node within the front... That is within the monster's front arc before it turns to face its target. Oh, okay. So Jeff actually jumps here. And then the monster turns back to face Karen. Now, interestingly though, the monster's... Oh, it is attacking in its front arc. Yeah, so now it's going to hit both of them. And it's actually range 2 as well. So this is a whole bunch of yikes. So... Now, having done that, you can see it's sort of facing them like that. And it's going to hit like this, according to its little arc chart, everywhere but the right side. And it's range 2, 7 damage, and if it hits them, it will stun them. And they need 3 to dodge out the way. But fortunately, because the creature's stunned, it's just 1. So let's do some dodging, I think. Now, its next strike is going to be closest target and something to do with the tail. Or the body, which is the back part of this creature. I don't really know what that means. Because I don't know its attacks well enough. If I just learned them better. Oh, anyway, let's get some dodging going on here. So... Right, because otherwise we're taking 5 damage to each character, which I don't like. I don't like it. I mean, Bladed Fangs is just less good than Bladed Dance. So we'll do that. It's agility 1. It's agility 1. And so that's Jeff's 1 remaining spot. Thank God Karen stunned this thing. And I guess I'll roll... I don't really want to move, actually, to be honest. What are we going to get? We're going to get 2 turns and 2 cards. Let's move around here. So we can hit it twice and then maybe back off, because our board is very full. And even though we're going to have 2 card plays, we're not even going to be able to play 2 cards without a feint. And I haven't drawn any of the feints. Karen has to play 1. Let's just play this terrible Slinger Shot card. So that's 1, and she also gets to move, so I'm going to move around as well. Actually, no, I'm going to move around to here. Oh no, but its next attack is going to be tail-oriented. It's going to target the closest, which is Karen. So go around to here, I think. I don't know. And then we've got 2 turns with 2 cards. And we've got our move as well back, so here we go. That's going to be 1 each. So who do we start with? Well, I mean, without being funny, I don't really know what to do with, Oh, and then at the end of its turn, it takes 2 damage and this token goes away. So it's no longer stunned, which is bad news, but it does take 2 damage from the poison, which is good news, because that could easily have been poor Jeff. So it's down to 50. Great, 1/6 of the way there. Easy peasy. I don't know why I haven't used Murder Mittens yet. I should just use Murder Mittens to do a 3-card attack on it. I have a feeling like Karen should use Guard Up. And then maybe Sword and Shield combo. That just feels like a sort of a good move. I don't know what this attack could be. I wish I knew these cards better. Yeah, okay, at least I know what I'm doing with Karen. So we'll play Guard Up, which means on her next turn she has +3 armor, and her elemental resistances are doubled. So that's, so it's Karen, we're doing Karen. So that's 1 of her card plays. And then her other card play is going to be Sword and Shield combo. So that just gives her 3 damage cards and also a break token. It's range 1. It requires 2 face-up cards on her stamina board, which she's got. So we will do... how pressed do I feel about hitting it in the head? I think I want to hit it in the head. I'm sort of tempted to continue to try to break its head and then maybe use Catastrophe to break its... I don't really see how reducing the movement of its claws are necessarily helpful to me. Whereas if I break its body, then it takes 5 damage, which is very helpful to me. The minute I break these things, though, it's going to get much worse. So I'm thinking if I get 1 near breaking point by focusing it, then I can use Catastrophe to break another thing, and that's good. Because, you know, I don't really want to be... And then I don't know if I'm going to get to break this. That's 5 break points. That's a lot. Yeah, so we'll hit it again in the head. So that's 1 more break token that comes out. Is it 4 I need to break it? Actually, does Catastrophe just straight up break something? When it has an amount of tokens equal to the part break value in its break token stash, the body part is broken. Remove all the break tokens and replace them with a broken token to mark the broken body part. So why does this say, place break tokens on 1 part of the monster up to its part break value? Oh, okay, so you can be a bit more targeted. Effectively, this is saying you can break the body part if you want, but if you don't want to break it right away, you can stash a bunch of tokens on it up to the full amount, which would break it. Cool, so that's actually kind of useful. That lets us be helpful about timing, but we're not going to use that right away. Anyway, 3 damage cards from Karen. We've got a 1, a 1, and a 1, so that's 3 damage. Goes down to 47. And that's the end of her turn, because that ends her turn. Okay, cool. Oh, she did have a movement. We'll spend her movement to move back around here. I don't know why. I just want to move away from Jeff. Alright, cool. So that is going to be time card. Flip your hunter token face down. Discard a card from here. And then draw back up to 5. And keep hunting. There's no special effect on this time card. Okay, so 3 cards back to Karen. 1, 2, 3. There's backstep. Oh, and I still have advanced slash, so I can combo them for an extra damage. Wow, backstep is just straight up step back 1 space. Anyway, I don't have enough room on... Oh, I do have enough room on my board to combo them. That's nice. Okay, and then it's time for... Jeff. And Jeff, what are you going to do? You're going to have to take a preparation turn, I think, because you have no card play. You can't play any cards. Your board is full. I don't really want to use a potion because I haven't taken any damage. But I feel like the best thing for me to do would be to just discard my entire hand and try and draw some feints so I can clear up my deck a bit. So I think what I should probably do is take that move first and just back off, you know, away from the creature. And then I've got 2 card plays. If I take a preparation turn, I can reset my damage deck. I don't really want to because I've only got 1s in my discard at the moment. But if I don't do it now, then I might regret, you know, that if I have to do it in the future. Yeah, let's sharpen, just because, you know, I'm gonna regret it if I run out of cards here and I'm like, oh, I have to take a sharpen turn. But I think that's pretty much all I can do. I can't even play a card to move because I have no space. So we sharpen up the old matched slicers. I mean, we could have broken a part of the monster before moving away. I mean, we could straight up break its claws, actually. Using Catastrophe. But then it does extra damage and gets harder to dodge, so that feels risky right now. So I'm not going to do it. Right, and that's all we can do with our preparations turn. So, let's draw a time card. Okay. Sleep Toad. So this goes face down. Discard a card from here. And then discard any number of cards from your hand, which is going to be... I guess I'll keep Demon Mode. Just in case I get an opportunity to actually use it. It's unlikely, but it might happen. And then I'm just going to draw back up to 5 and hope I draw some of those feints to help me clear my turn. So we've got... Oh, this is the wrong deck, for God's sake. We've got Feint. There it is. Great. So this card, you can see, doesn't have the yellow banding across the middle, which means I can play it and it doesn't count towards my total, and it just helps me clear up my stamina board. It says discard any 2 attack cards from your stamina board. So that's great. We've got Blade Dancer, a nice attack. Rapid Spin, which is not a very good attack, and Round Slash, which is also not a very good attack. But that's fine, and that's drawing back up to 5, and now we have to roll a die. On a 1 to 3, Jeff goes to sleep, No, on a 4 to 6, Jeff goes to sleep, but on a 1 to 3, the monster goes to sleep, which is great. That would be super useful. Please don't go to sleep, Jeff. Now is not the time for sleep. It's very important. And after resolving the time card, these will flip back over. So don't go to sleep, Jeff. Don't go to sleep. Stay awake. Jeff, you can do it! Stay awake! Oh, we did it! Jeff went to sleep. Why have you done this? Terrible. Alright, so I think this means on his next turn he just doesn't get to do anything. What are all these crazy creatures? You can't play attack cards on your stamina board, attack, move, or dodge until the end of your next turn. That's terrible. It's basically just miss a turn. Straight up miss a turn. Cool. Alright, and that's the end of that. So now it's time for the great Jagras to attack. Oh, it's the belly roll right. So we're doing the same sort of thing that we did last time. Alright, so I think we're probably going to take a damage here, but it'll probably be okay. So, it's going to target Karen. It's going to turn to face her, which it already is. And then it's going to move to the right, which is actually over here, and turn to face her again. And she is 2 in front in its front arc. So she will get hit for 7 and stunned. Our current defense is 5, so we'll take 2 damage. And stunned probably just means I'm not even going to get turn next turn either. Is that right? What's stunned? No, I think I just discarded some cards from hand, actually. Sure would be helpful if they had a little iconography player aid. I'm going to absolutely print that out first thing. Discard down to 2 cards if you have more than 2. Well, that's rough. So we'll go down to 6 health. And because Jagras has done damage to us, it gets 1 health back. Back up to 48. And we have to go down to 2 cards. And what's it doing next? It's going to do some claw attack. Claw attack with its to the closest target. I'm conscientious that if I play cards out to attack it next turn, I will just I'll just fill up my stamina and be in another predicament. Where I won't even be able to dodge. Because I'd quite like to use Backstep and Advancing Slash as a nice combo. Although it really only does 2 damage. I can just use Lateral Slash, which does 2 anyway. Yeah, I think that's probably what we need to do. So with that in mind, let's keep Lateral Slash. Actually, let's just keep both Lateral Slash. No, we need to keep Chop because it's got Agility 2 on it. So I'll keep Chop, which is just a really baby attack, but it's got Agility 2 on it, and I'll keep Lateral Slash because it does 2 damage, and we'll get rid of all the rest. Sad. Alright, and that's the stun resolved, and that's the end of that. So now, once again, we've got 2 turns with 2 card plays each. But sadly, we can just resolve... Let's resolve Jeff's first, because we might get some benefit from the time card, I guess. Yeah, probably, and at least we'll get rid of the sleep token. I say probably, maybe, but at least we'll get rid of the sleep token. So, he goes, and then he just skips his whole turn. Threat token goes face down, sleep token goes away. And that's all that happens there. Stupid sleepy toad. Don't jump into a bush with a sleep toad, basically, is the answer. So now I've got a card called Suspenseful Boulder. So we're going to roll a die, and on a 1 to 3, the monster suffers 5 damage, and on a 4 to 6, we suffer 2 damage. Alright, well, let's hope the boulder hits the monster. But first, we can discard this card here. We can discard cards from our hand. I think I'll probably keep the cards I've got, to be honest. I would like a card that lets me move before attacking, but I don't think I don't think such a card exists in his deck, so I don't think we can do that. Yep, so we'll just keep that. We draw up to 5. We've already got 5, so that's all of that. So let's roll and see if the Suspended Boulder hits Jeff or hits the monster. Come on, monster. Monster. Yeah! Monster takes 5 damage. Fantastic. So it goes down to 43. Thank God for that boulder trap. Whoever set that up. The Ewoks. Good job, Ewoks. And that's the end of Jeff's turn, so then it's Karen's turn, and we'll just spend our movement to move up to its face, I think. Now, do we break its face? Probably not. But then that's the only spot I can now attack, thanks to my incredibly limited positioning. But actually, I don't even have break, so I can't even break it. I'm just doing a lateral slash, which is just 2 damage cards, and that's it. So I can't even break its face anyway. So I do have 1 card play left after this, but I don't think I'm going to play the card, because then I would have no space left for sufficient dodging. So anyway, here's 2 damage. And actually, we need to sharpen our weapon after this. It's a 2 and a 3. So that was all of our big damage cards there. So that's 5 more damage, down to 38. And now what we're going to do is we're going to free up our spot here, so fingers crossed we can dodge whatever's coming at us. So I'm going to pass without using my final card play. And that's the end of that. Flip this down, because that's going to be the first thing it suggests. Roar! Oh, I hate this. I'll tell you what it means in just a minute. But first, this card goes into the discard. We can discard cards from hand. I'm keeping Chop because I want the 2 agility. We go back up to 5. I've got Shield Bash. That's the one we like that stuns it. I've got Guard Up. That's a nice one that gives us that armor. I've got the Sword and Shield combo. I feel like she's just straight up better than Jeff. And another copy of Backstep. And now we have to roll a die and discard that many time cards from the time deck. So, again, I feel like we want a low number. I feel like we always want a low number. Come on, low numbers. Please, low number. I can't even see. I can't see. It rolled off screen. Where is it? It's here. It's a 2. I'll take a 2. So these are not resolved. Okay, cool. And that's the end of that. So we're back to Monster. Belly Slam. So it's going to start by attacking in all of its front arcs with it's 3 to dodge, range 1. If I'd step back, this would just miss me. That's so annoying. 7 damage. Okay, so oh, this should have been discarded as well. Oh, if I'd known I was discarding Guard Up, I absolutely would have played differently. But I forgot I was discarding Guard Up. That's fine. That's my own fault. Okay. Well, I think we have no choice here but to dodge. So here's an agility 2 card, which is Chop. And here's Backstep, an agility 1 card. And that gives us 3, which is what we need to dodge. And we can go 1, 2. I think we scoop around to here. Then the creature moves backwards twice. But it's actually going to change its facing to face its target, which is Karen. And then it's going to try to move backwards twice. It can't, though, so it just stays put. And that's the end of Belly Slam. Now the downside of Belly Slam is that it's 1, 2. So, oh, do you know what actually we could do with Karen? Is we could dodge into the bush. And that would reduce our threat if we want Jeff to come and take some of the heat. Yeah, let's do that actually. Let's go and dodge this way. Dodge, dodge. I like how I've managed to get the fight into the corner furthest from this camera. And then it will do its movement, but it will actually just turn to face me, which means it could face this node or this node. But I'll put it facing this node, actually. And then it will try to back up twice, and it can't. But this just means its next attack, which will be furthest target, if I make sure it's equidistant from both Jeff and Karen, it will try to hit Jeff, which suits me better. Okay, cool. So then that's the end of Belly Slam, and we get 1 turn with 2 card play. These should both be face up. So I think that's got to be Jeff. Mainly because Karen's got... well, we could play guard up, I guess. And just hope for the best. No, let's do Jeff. I don't really have a really good plan here. But I'll play Feint to ditch 2 cards from here. I'll ditch these 2, I don't know why. Am I allowed to look at them? It doesn't matter. So, when you ditch from earlier in the row, the remaining cards just slide to the left and fill in those spots. This is helpful for pulling back, like, cards that you want to have back for your strategies or whatever. Right, and now I'm just miles away, and I have nothing that has range on it. Its next attack will target the furthest, and it's going to be its claws. So I'm inclined to just stand here and then see if it moves up. I'm really conscientious that I've not got it to half health yet. But maybe this is the time to proc our kittens and do some actual damage. So here's Jeff's move anyway. And we'll close this gap. I don't think I'm going to get in close enough to attack without loading up my stamina board and limiting myself later. I also haven't used any potions yet, so there's still time for that. But yeah, let's let it come to us, and oh god, that means 2 card play not being used though. But the problem is if we get closer, then it's going to target Karen. No, I feel good about this for some reason that I can't explain. Okay, I mean, if it doesn't hit Jeff, or if it gets a big attack off on Jeff, that means next turn I could use Demon Mode, potentially, which would be massive. I mean, it could be okay. I don't think it'd actually be that massive. Anyway. Alright. Yeah, I'm committing to this crazy strategy. Let's see what happens. So, time card is Nitro Toad. So we discard this, back to the discard, and we get to draw 1 new card for Jeff, which is Lunging Stab. Good, this is what I wanted. So lets me move 1 and then attack. So that's helpful for next turn. And now we have to roll a die and hope that we don't get blown up by the Nitro Toad. On a 1 to 3, we add a break token to the monster. On a 4 to 6, we suffer blast, which I think reduces our armor. Not that I have a whole lot of armor to begin with. Oh, Jagras gains 1 health for damaging the hunter. Yeah, Paul, I think I did that, didn't I? Is that chat old? I've only taken damage on 1 hunter and I added it back already. 2! Nice one. Okay, these are going in my favor. That's helpful. So, here's a break token for its body, because I don't quite want to break it yet. But I think we're going to try to break, like, all 3 just back to back to back. It's not like Oathsworn, where that triggers a bunch of attacks. Here we go. Here's its behavior card. This is where we find out if my stalling strategy was just a disaster. Oh, it's got big moves. Oh, I don't like it. 7 damage, minus 2. I think I'm just going to take 5 damage on Jeff to do a big attack on my turn. Yikes. So, it turns its attention to Jeff. It goes 1, 2, 3, pushing Jeff all the way back. Finally, we're back on the action cam. And then it hits everyone in its front and side arcs that are in range 1 for 7 damage, which is going to be 5 damage. I'm just going to take it on Jeff rather than dodge it, so I can finally use demon mode and kick it in the face. I mean, I'm still only going to get to do 2 cards. It's probably going to be like 4 damage, but I'm doing it anyway. And actually, it's about to heal 1 if I take the 5 damage. Oh god, I'm talking myself out of it. I'm never going to get to play demon mode. It's so annoying. Yeah, actually, I'd be better off just playing the lunging stab and getting a bonus card and not taking any damage. It's so annoying. Alright, fine. We will dodge using Rapid Spin, which is an Agility 2 card, and Blade Dance, I think. And then I can move up to 3. Do I want to hide in a bush? I genuinely don't know how I'm going to recover the stamina on Karen. I think I only want to dodge 1 to here. Bear with me 2 seconds, folks. I'll be just 2 seconds. There's now an errant bonbon here investigating the battlefield. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, I don't know how to sort out Karen's stamina, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, in the meantime, oh yeah, right. So I've dodged this, so that's fine. So it doesn't get its health back. She just wants to look out the window. Bonbon. There you go. Silly goofball. Okay. Right. Good, so that's me now. So I'm getting two card turns here. And actually, we have to play with Karen first anyway, because Jeff took that one turn last time, didn't he? So... So I think Karen should spend her one move to get in behind Jagras here. Then we should play Shield Bash. Oh, I can't even play the Sword and Shield combo because I don't have 2 face-up cards. That's so annoying. Yeah, there's not really much I can do about that. But this will stun it, so at least it... Oh, wait, I can't even attack it. I have to sharpen. Right, well, new plan. We have to do a preparation turn because I've got no damage cards left. Oh, do we drink a potion and clear off our entire board? How much time have I used? I had like 30, but then I spent like a whole bunch. I've used like 8. I had to give... Oh, well, I had to give 2 up. But realistically, I've probably got like 18 or 19 cards left, maybe. I've used like 8. And I've done about 27 damage. No, less than that. Because I got some free 5 damage off of it. It's not very good. But I've still got both of my cats. And that's the important thing. Both of the cats. That's what really matters. Okay, but yeah, this definitely has to be a preparation turn so we can reset our damage deck. And then the other thing is... Do I drink a potion? I've only got 2, and I'm only down 2 health. But it would clear off the 4 cards, which is, I think, more appealing. Ah, do you know, I'm gonna save them. I don't know why, it feels bad to use them, you know, before they're really needed. I guess, though, I don't know when they're really needed. Right, so that's all I can do. If I'm not using a potion, that's all I can do. So, well, I can do a move as well. But I think given the fullness of my board here, and my lack of stun over here, I think I'll... actually, he's going to attack the furthest target to him. But he does tend to hit everything close to him as well. The furthest target from him. So I just need to make sure that... Oh no, but if... Oh no, I'm hiding in a bush. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. So we'll call that turn. We will... Oh no. Oh, that's a real pain. Okay, so we get rid of this card here. We get to go back up to 5. And then the monster sleeps. We lose 2 break tokens from here and here, and it recovers 5 health. So it goes back up to 43. Alright, and then it's, this goes face down, which means both tokens go face up, and now it's Jeff's turn. So, we don't need to move. So we might as well play the lunging stab, actually, that lets us move. Do I have a break? I don't even have a break on here. So I can hit it on the face or the side. So let's just hit it on the face. It's 3 damage cards. That's 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 damage. Taking it down to 40. And that's one of my card plays. So then I've got... all I've got is round slash, which lets me hit it and move. I've already got a move, so it doesn't really matter, but I might as well use it anyway, because, you know, need to do some damage, I guess. So there we go. That's another one. Down to 39. And that's all my card plays. But I've got one move, and then I can spend another move, but I think it's just going to be one... Actually, we'll go 1, 2, I think, to here. Because that just kind of keeps it close to Karen, but not necessarily so close that it's going to hurt her. But it also won't be going massively far away. So, that's the end of that. So, time card says... Ditch this. Oh, flip this face down. Sorry. There we go. Flip that face down. Ditch the card here. I'll keep Demon Mode, even though I'm never going to get to play it. I'm going to ditch Demon Mode. And I draw back up to 5. Fine, I got another copy of Feint and Lunging Stab, which I like. There's 4... Oh, 2 Feints. Well, now I want Demon Mode back. And I got Blade Dance as well. And then all players pass. So now it's a swap of the old Fate tokens. And then they keep their facing. And that's the end of that. Back to Monster. So it's a claw attack, farthest character. They're tied, but Karen's still hiding in a bush, so it's going to target Jeff. And so it's going to move 3 towards Jeff, and then it's going to do 6 damage in its front arc. So it changes its facing to Jeff. It goes 1, 2, 3 like this. Jeff has to stay in the front arc, but he's... Oh, this is interesting. Does he get pushed out the way? There's nowhere for him to go. Can I avoid this attack by dint of the monster charging too fast? That would be nice. I'll take it. And then I'll pretend it was a deliberate strategy. In the event... Oh no, because it'll change its facing no matter what. It'll change its facing after. Remember, it changes facing before and after movement, so that's fine. So I'll get pushed out. I'll get pushed, I think, left or right. I can choose, actually, any adjacent node. So... the question is, where do I want to go? I'm conscientious we've lost all of our break tokens, which is a massive pain. Let's go over here. I don't know why. I guess so that Karen can access its face. So then it turns to face me. And then it does 6 damage to me unless I dodge it, which I will. So here's a rapid spin card, which allows me to dodge. And I'll go 1. Maybe I should just try to get out of here. I'm only going to get 1 turn, so the downside here is that only Karen will get to act next. Because we've only got 1 player turn, and then 2 card plays as well. So, I'm conscientious of that. So I wonder if maybe Jeff shouldn't just kind of... Its next attack is some forward attack towards the closest, which will make sure is Karen. But I don't want to get accidentally caught in the crossfire. I also don't want to move too far away, so I can't hit it when Jeff gets a turn next. So maybe we go 1-2 over to here, and hope that that's going to be sort of sufficiently distant to, I don't know, keep out of the way of its next attack, whatever that is. So that is Jeff's dodge, and now we get 1 turn with 2 card plays, and that has to come to Karen. So it's time for Karen to come out of the bushes and do something useful. So we'll spend our move to move out of here like this and face down the mighty beast. And what we're going to do is we're going to play guard up and sword and shield combo and just smack it in the face, I think. This is a great combo. Like, anyway, so we hit it in its face. It takes a break token, puts it on 3. So I'm not even close to breaking it. No, I am now. I'm 1 away from breaking it. But what I mean is, I was closer before, so I'm annoyed. Here's 3 cards worth of damage. It's 1, it's 3, it's 5. Nice. Karen, you're so good. Where would we be without you? It goes down to 34, and it's mad. And that's our 2 card plays. Guard up, sword and shield combo. So that's her turn over. And you can't dodge, Karen, so maybe I should have used Shield Bash. Well, it's too late now. Here's hoping I can tank whatever's coming. Oh, yeah, I think I meant to use Shield Bash. Well, whatever, we can't go back. It's too late now. Threat Shift. Oh. Well, it's attacking the closest, so it doesn't matter. But Threat Shifts, so we'll discard this. We will discard any number of cards from hand. I will keep the cards I have, I think. I'll get rid of Slinger Shot, actually. I think that's fine. And then we'll go get 3 cards back. We've got Rising Slash, which is a nice hit. Slinger Shot comes back anyway. And we've got Advancing Slash as well, which we like. And then these tokens swap positions. They should actually both be face down at the moment anyway. And then they'll both go face up. It's time for monster time. Uh-oh. Okay, not too bad. We are going to get stunned, though. So, it's 3 forward, so it's going to target Karen. It's going to move 3 forward. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3. And when it pushes her off the map here, she's going to reappear on any side of it. At any adjacent node. So let's appear here in this bush. And it's going to turn around to face her. And then it's going to hit her for 6 damage, which we reduce to 1, which is nice. But then we also get stunned, which means we have to go down to 2 cards in hand, which is not so nice. Fortunately, I quite like Rising Slash and Shield Bash. Oh, Round Slash is really cool too, though. That's got 3 cards on it. I like that too. Alright, let's keep that in Shield Bash, actually, and we'll ditch the other 3. And we take 1 damage, so we go down to 5, but that also means the beast goes back up to 35. Alright, listen. Jeff, I need you to come in and do some damage, please. Yes, I think Jeff should be able to do some damage next turn, which is great because I'm only getting 1 turn. 1 turn with 2 card plays. So here it is. And we will start Jeff's turn off by playing 2 feints to ditch all of the cards on his stamina row. Because we need to... Oh, interestingly, Karen's going to get guard up for 2 turns because she's not going to have a turn this round. That's interesting. Or, sorry, she's going to have it for 2 monster turns. Good job, Karen. We like that. So, no, we played both of our feints, so now we're going to play our move to advance. And then we're going to play Lunging Stab to move forward 1 more. And because this is the first combat card we played this round, we get to draw 3 damage cards, which is nice. So we get to move. Now, this would be the perfect time if the monster just stays still to have... Oh, it's going to attack Jeff next turn. I don't really want that. Ugh, Karen, why are you in a bush? God damn it. I'll just have to dodge. It's just a pity. This would have been a good time to use demon mode if only I was... I just don't want to like sacrifice this opportunity to hit it. In case I don't even get the demon mode anyway. So here's 3 damage cards from Jeff. Got a 2, a 1, and another 1. So that's 4 damage, taking it down to 31. And then it's time card. It's tactical shift. Oh, cool. Actually, this is great. So tactical shift deletes this card from here. We get to go back up to 5. Jeff's a lot of cards, so we need to shuffle. This is the one I've been waiting for. It says up to 2 hunters may move up to 1 node each. So we can use this to redirect its anger at Karen. Because she's got the 8 at the moment as well, which is good. So that's face down. Oh, where's that? Oh, way up. Okay. Right. So we've got some more cards here for Jeffy. So he's got his Blade Dance still. We've got Demon Mode. So if we play our cards right, maybe we'll get to use it. Feint, actually, that's kind of perfect. Yeah. Another Feint and Bladed Fangs. Well, yeah, I do actually need an attack to make use of Demon Mode. If I have Demon Mode but no attack cards, then it's kind of redundant. Anywho, now we get to move each hunter 1 space. So I think actually they should just swap positions. Because it's going to attack the closest, but we want it to hit Karen. So if Karen goes here and Jeff goes here, hopefully they'll swap positions and it will, yeah, go after Karen and Jeff can get a cool demon mode attack and actually do some significant damage. That would be great, but let's find out what it's actually going to do now, right now. So it's its turn. Alright, so it's actually going to attack in every direction and hit everyone. So annoying. And then after this we get through. This is its forward roll move that it would not be doing if I had played better in the search and gathering phase. That's fine. It's fine. So maybe we can still do something cool with Demon Mode. Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. Right. So, Karen, why do you have so few cards in your hand? Good God. Right. So it's going to change its face into Karen because it's angry at Karen. She's got the most threat. And then it's going to hit everyone in its front arcs, everywhere but the back arc. Oh, it's going to stun. It's going to stun Jeff, so he's going to have. Jeff's got to dodge this. Jeff will have to dodge this, but Karen can't dodge it. But Karen will block most of the damage, so she's going to take 3 damage in total, which takes her down to 2, and gives the monster back 1, so it goes up to 32. Oh, I haven't even got a below half health. And then Jeffy's going to have to dodge, or else he's in serious trouble. So we need 4 to dodge, so we use Feint, one of our 2 Feint cards. And we also use Bladed Fangs to give us, that gives us actually 3 agility. Now in a minute it's going to take 1 step backwards. No, it's not going to take 1 step forwards. So I actually don't think I want to move really. I think I just want to stay here. No, no, we want to hit it in the front arc. So we'll dodge 1 space to here, so we'll just roll out of the bush. We've got lower threat now anyway. And it has also stunned Karen, but she only has 2 cards left anyway, so that's fine. And then it's going to move forward, pushing her back 1, like that. Didn't really need to roll out of the bush. It's probably fine. Okay, and now we get 3 turns with 2 card plays each. Right, and I'm actually going to get to do demon mode, but it's not going to be super impressive, but at least I'll get to do it. So, oh no, I can't. I have to start with Karen. That's fine. The monster's not going to move. So we'll start with Karen. It's actually going to be Karen. Yeah, because they're offset at the moment, it's going to have to be Karen, Jeff, Karen. So Karen plays Shield Bash, which just does 1 damage and stuns it, which is helpful. 1 damage card, which is a 3. Oh, this is why I upgraded that weapon. So she's down to 29. I'd have rather upgrade Jeff's weapons, because he does more damage, I think, overall, but I didn't have the right bones. It's fine. So there's his card play. Karen's card play is done. Creature's stunned. And actually, this card is removed after the attack from her board. Got 1 more card play. I feel like we might as well play it. So it's going to be round slash. We draw 3 cards. And then we get to move 1. Do I have 3 left? I've got 4 left. So I'm going to have to sharpen my weapon soon as well. So it's 3 1s, so that's 3 more damage. Nice one, Karen. I also need to sharpen so I can use my my little kitty cat as well to help me out. Yeah, you want to go back outside? You didn't even say hi to everybody. They really wanted to see you. Okay, bye. Okay, and then I've got effectively 2 movement, which I think I should just use to hide in the bush, because its next attack is closest, and I've got 2 health left. I think now is the time. Next turn is Karen's time for potion. Go back up to 8, clear the stamina board. You know, it just feels the right time. But we just need to survive until then. So that's the end of her turn, so we're going to draw a time card. Time card says... Oh, God. Vespoid attack. So we're going to discard this. We're going to go back up to 5 cards, which means I have to shuffle this. And then for some reason I get paralyzed. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to assume it's bad. Oh, holy crap. paralysis is if you have 2 cards in your hand, discard down to 2. I've been doing paralysis when I should have been doing stun. That's my bad. Stun is choose 1 attack card from your hand and place it face down on your board. If you can't place it on your stamina board, this has no effect. I actually don't know which of those is worse. Probably stun is a bit worse. Please forgive me for my egregious error. Yeah. Yikes. When was I stunned? I guess actually... Yeah. Actually, I was just stunned off the forward roll, wasn't I? And basically nothing happened because I had... So really, I actually shouldn't have been able to play any cards at all this round with Karen. Because she shouldn't have been able to draw any. Yeah, so, okay, that's easy to undo. I'll just put those back on top here, shuffle it, and give the creature back its 6 health. Ugh, what a pain. So it's back up to 32. Because what I should have had was a card face down here, so that I couldn't play any cards to hand anyway. So actually the only thing I can do with Karen is spend her 1 movement token. In fact, then I probably take a... Oh no, because actually this one goes away at the start of my turn. Yeah, and that slides up. So I can still do all of the stuff I could have done anyway. It wouldn't have made a difference. Except I would have had 1 less card. Right, I would have had 1 less action card. That's fine. Sorry, this is very fixable. I apologize for the admin. I would have kept Shield Bash and played that. Yeah, so I would have played Shield Bash, right, which was draw 1 damage card, which is a 1 because I shuffled, so that's my punishment for getting things wrong. There we go. So it's down to 31, and it's still stunned. And Guard Up should be in the discard. This should come off due to the Vespoid attack. And that is everything fixed. So now I drop to 5 and then discard down to 2. Thank you for your forgiveness, Chadicus. I appreciate it. Alright, we've got a lateral slash, a rising slash, a shield bash, an advancing slash, and a backstep. I can only keep 2 of these cards. Although it's not really going to matter because I'm probably going to take a preparation turn in a minute with her. So let's keep shield bash because I really like it. And let's keep lateral slash because it's just 2 damage and I want to kill this thing. I've not even got it below half health. It's on 31. So that's her turn. And that's the timing card, so that's flipped. These 2 flip back over. And that was the resolution of Paralyze, which is to keep only 2 action cards, which I've now done. Oh, this feels less bad now because the thing's gone away, but I still think it's probably time to refresh. Maybe. I don't know, actually. No, it's time to refresh, probably. Alright. It is Jeff's time to shine. So Jeff's going to take a turn as well. Good night, Eggers. Thank you for staying up and hanging out. I'll see you in due course. Right. You can always catch up on the stream. It'll be here. We're waiting for you. Here's Feint. Feint gets rid of these 2. And then it's... that doesn't count as a card play. Right? That's what Paul said. It definitely doesn't count as a card play. Are we sure about that? Sprinting doesn't count as a card play. But I think if you play it for its effect, even if it doesn't go onto the stamina board, it counts as a card play. Let me just see what it says here under the monsters thing. At least this rulebook is not as ambiguous as there are others. No, it specifically says the number of attack cards each hunter can play face up on their stamina board during their turn. So, because that wasn't face up on my stamina board, I can keep going with 2 cards, right? So we play Demon Mode out here, which we have to play face up because it's got the stamina bar on it, and then we can play Blade Dance as well. Now, Blade Dance has got a break token on it, so I guess we break its face. It's risky, but I've committed to it now. So that's our 2 card plays. And I get to draw... So I break its face. So that's the 4th break token goes out. So these come off. And it gets a big old break token here to show that's been broken. And what I'm actually going to do as well is I'm going to trigger the... Well, we'll do it in a minute. We'll resolve the card first, which is just 4 damage cards because of Demon Mode. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 damage. And I need to sharpen my weapon. I think that's a 2. How annoying. 4 damage, which brings it down to 27. We've finally broken the halfway mark. Now, I think it's time, given that we've now irritated it anyway, so I've triggered its irritable keyword here, which says that it's going to get +1 damage and +1 challenge to dodging for the remainder of this. I think it's time to use Catastrophe to break something else on it. If we break its body, we can do 5 more damage to it, which seems really tempting. Or if we break its claws, behaviors with the claws on it are at -1 movement. And I'm just not sure how useful that is. Because I'm not sure how fast it goes when it does attacks with its claws. Because it has 11 behavior cards and I struggle to remember which ones are which. I think we should break its body actually, because that's 5 damage and also the body's the hardest part to hit because that's at the back. So let's break its body and do 5 damage. And then if I can break the sides, we can always break the sides as well. So that goes down to 22. And Catastrophe is spent. Thank you, Catastrophe. You've been incredibly helpful. And I have 1 movement chip left. Its next attack is a face attack at the closest target, which is going to be Jeff, but it's got dodge 1 on it, thanks to Karen's help. So I think that's fine. So let's just stay where we are. I like where we are. And so we get timing, which is keep hunting, so it's just a regular old timing card, doesn't do anything special. Just gets rid of this. We get... Why is that face up? We get 5 new cards, which includes another Demon Mode and another Feint, so there's a chance we get to do that. And we have 1 turn left, so this has to go... That should have gone face down. And then it's back to Karen. That's how it's got to be, isn't it? So, this is Karen's preparation turn, I think. So, we're just going to sharpen to reset our damage deck. Oh, actually, I don't really need to do that now, though. Because I had one less card play last time. Yeah, maybe actually Karen just does some damage. Because it's still stunned as well. I just only have 2 cards in hand because I got paralyzed by the Vespoid, which is a pain. But yeah, I could feasibly dodge basically anything because it's stunned. I don't want to spend Shield Bash, but I think I'm going to do it. Yeah, it feels bad, but let's do that. So what we'll do is we've got 2 card play. So we'll use Lateral Slash. We're going to have to attack its side, though, which is armored. But so be it. 2 cards. Yeah, because I knew the 3 was in there. I don't know, I think the others are just 1s. Which is kind of fine. It's just got armor 1, so it goes down to 19. Okay, cool. And then we've got 1 more card play. I guess we'll play Shield Bash just to do a damage. Yep. Down to 18. And then we can spend our movement point, I think, to duck out over here. Because it's going to attack Jeff anyway. Time card. Rampage. Oh my god, this is dreadful. I've never seen this before. Wow, this is awful. Okay, great. This is terrible news. So this goes... Oh, this is going to be so rough. And we get to draw back up to 5 with Karen. So she gets a Shield Bash, which is nice, a Chop, which is a terrible attack, a Round Slash, which is a nice attack, a Slinger Shot, and another Slinger Shot. So she's got some ranged attacks, which is good because she's a bit further away. But then this says, during the monster's next turn, its behavior card has 0 turns on, which is dreadful. That means it's basically going to do 2 attacks back to back, and there's nothing I can do about it. This is a blue time card. That's terrible. Now, that will be worse based on the number of turns I should have had. If I lose 3 turns, that's even worse. But it's still bad. That's still really bad. Anyway, let's find out how bad this is going to be. Well, I'm just losing 1 big turn. But its next card is probably going to kill Karen because of this. That should have gone face down, actually. And then after the last time, they both should have flipped face up. God, that's annoying. Alright, so its first thing it's going to do is move 2 towards its target. Its target is the closest, which is Jeff. So it's going to turn like this. It's going to go 1, 2. Jeff is going to get pushed out. I'm definitely going to go over here so it doesn't face Karen. Although it's not really going to matter anyway. It's going to target her. And then it's going to hit Jeff for 6 damage. And I'm just going to dodge by playing Rapid Spin, which gives me 2 movement. Oh, that's cool. And what I'll do... Oh, I can't get far enough away. I was just thinking, like, if I could get further away from it, it would come after me instead of Karen, but she's not in a bush and she's got the 8, so I can't pull its aggro. I can't get far enough away. So I just have to hope that whatever it's doing next doesn't reach her. It probably will, though. And it will probably kill her. I can't really do anything about that. Should have had the potion last turn. With that in mind, then, I don't think I really want to move. I'll move 1 over to here. I think. just because it's probably going to go that way after Karen. Maybe. I mean, it could just back up as well. Maybe I go 1-2 like this in case it backs up. I don't want to get hit, but also I don't want to, I don't want to be too far away, so I can't hit it back. I'll just go over here. And then instead of one turn with 3 card plays, I get nothing, and we just move straight onto its next behavior card. At the wrong moment, this could be, I mean, even worse. Yeah, okay. So it's just turning around and charging Karen, and it definitely kills her. So it just turns to face her. It goes 1, 2, 3. It has absolutely lost. It goes 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it has absolutely lost its stun because that goes at the end of its turn, which means that I need 3 to dodge, which I don't have. So I take 7 damage, and I faint. Now this is my first faint of 3 potential faints. So I've got a... Where's my red faint die? There we go. Faint 1. 1 of 3 on the red faint die. And I think it's not actually that dissimilar to drinking a potion. Except that, you know, if it happens 3 times, you're out of luck. So, yeah. So we faint. We lose 2 time cards. That's why it's really bad. Okay, so oh god, actually that's really bad because we don't have that many left. And we lost one called Brief Respite and Tactical Shift. We lost 2 good ones, and we had to deal with the bad one. And then at the start of my next turn, I can reappear on the board, and also I get back to 8 health. And also... That's it. I don't actually get my stamina back. Return the health dial to full and draw attack cards until you have 5 in hand, which is fine. I have 5 in hand. That's less good than I thought. So, anyway, here's 2... I probably still need the stamina. So here's 2 turns that we're gonna get now. Alright, how much... I still need to do 18 damage, which is quite a lot, actually. Its next move is going to be another face thing that attacks the closest. So, let's have a think here. Right, how many more cards? Yeah, I think Karen still needs to take a recharge turn. So, let's pop her down. I don't want to be so far away from it. Let's pop her down over here. And do a preparation turn. Its next thing is going to target the closest. Which is going to be Jeff anyway. Unfortunately, poor Jeff. Oh, if those... beneficial cards. If I got Brief Respite. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, so her turn. 2 card plays. And... no, not even 2 card plays. Preparation phase. Drinks a potion. Potions goes down to 1. I'm marking it off on the sheet. 1 potion left. And then she gets all her health back, which is fine. It's really about this. She gets rid of these 4 cards here. And she gets to sharpen her weapon as well, which is also kind of essential. Those are for the discard. Sharpens her weapon. And that is the... oh, she gets a point of movement. I mean, if it's going to attack Jeff... I suppose I could make it attack me. How do I feel about that? Not great. I mean, I can get equidistant and then it'll attack me because I have more threat. But actually, Jeff's going to go first anyway. And he'll be closer. So I might as well just move up to here, seeing as I have the movement. Oh, and no matter where I attack it, I'm not even going to be able to break it anyway. I suppose I could use Murder Mittens now. It doesn't say that Murder Mittens can't be used. It's not an attack card. Can't be. It just says it has to be used on your turn. It does say draw 3 as if you were resolving an attack card, so maybe I'm not allowed to use it. That's fine. We'll save it for next turn. I don't think we're going to get 2 more feints before my next turn. Fingers crossed. So that's her turn done. And then it's Jeff's turn. And so Jeff discards feint to get rid of these 2. And then we spend the movement token to advance on the beast. We'll move up here. And that means we're in its side and back. I guess I'll attack its back. It actually makes no difference. I'm still not going to get... it's still going to have 1 armor. And so then we play Demon Mode and Double Slash for 4 damage cards. Oh, I've only got 1 damage card left. Shit. Oh, I guess we're not doing that then. Damn it. Alright, looks like we're just having a boring turn where we replenish things. I guess this means it's going to attack... I guess I will move in, so it will attack Jeff. Damn it. What did I have here? I had Rapid Spin in Demon Mode, didn't I? So that's replaced that. Yeah, because I can't even play Feint. Yeah, I'll move in so it attacks Jeff, because I've got better dodge overall. Oh, what a pain. Alright, I'm not going to take a potion or anything. I'm literally just sharpening my sword. I also forgot to do a time card with Karen, didn't I? I should do that. So, yeah, Karen's time card is... Oh, okay, well this changes everything. Hold tight. Flip your hunter token. Yeah, so it's the normal stuff. That goes over. She loses one of these. She doesn't have any. Goes back up to 5, which I did do. And then it says discard 4 time cards, and each hunter may sharpen their weapon and use a potion from the communal pool. Well, that's bad. That means I only have 2 time cards left. I'm only going to have 1 time card left. To do 18 damage. I might as well use a potion. Like, there's no reason not to. On Jeff. I'm gonna lose. Right. That was called the Monster Retreats. And then... I think if I play Lunging Stab and Double Slash, so Jeff would still be back here. I think if I play Lunging Slash and Double Stab, it's still better than Demon Mode because I can move 1 forward and then I can draw 5 attack cards instead of 4. Which is still just going to be like 5 damage. It's not going to be enough. Okay, so here is Lunging Stab. Move 1 in, draw 3 damage cards. Oh, that's not too bad. 2, 3, so 4 damage takes it down to 14. And then play the Double Slash as well, which is 2 more, which is another 2. So both of Jeff's good damage cards. So for 3 in total, it goes down to 11. And then Jeff has to draw a time card. And he's got 1 more point of movement. I might as well move over next to Karen because I need the monster to come this way anyway. If it moves, I definitely have lost. That's my 2 card plays. That's his movement. So it's time card, which is Paratoad. I mean, that's going to paralyze someone. But first, deletes this. Go back up to 5 cards. This goes down. Both come face up. Roll to see if the Paratoad paralyzes Karen, or Jeff or Monster. It's Jeff, so Jeff has to go down to 2 cards. It's not stun, which I guess will be Blade Dance and 6-fold slash. Although he's not going to get another turn, I don't think. So that's the end of that. The monster's final behavior card is Head Slam. So it's going to target the closest, which is going to be Karen. So it's going to turn around like this. It's going to go 1, and then turn around again and go 2 like that, pushing her back to here. And then she's going to take 7 damage, unless she can avoid it, which I will do with 2 agility. So here's a slinger shot, and another slinger shot to avoid that damage. And then it's Karen's turn, and I guess I'm just going to hit it a whole bunch and hope for the best. I still don't think I can get up to 11 damage, but I'll do what I can. I've only got 2 card plays anyway. So I guess I'll start with Murder Mittens, right, for 3 damage cards. There's no reason not to. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that's 6. And then I've got Round Slash, which is 3 more damage cards and a movement. Now bear in mind I'm attacking the front here, which has no armor. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that's 9. So I've got 2 cards left here. Is one of them a 2? One of them is a 2, and one of them is a 1. And so if this is the 2, I've won, and if it's the 1, I've lost. So here's my last attack. It's Chop. It was the 1, and I've lost. So that's the end of that. I'll draw the final card here. It's a Threat Shift. But I think that immediately ends the adventure. If you ever need to draw or discard time cards when the deck is empty. Okay, I think I might have one more turn then, because I don't need to draw time cards. Yet. No, it's a Threat Shift. Is that right? The time deck is empty, but I've not yet lost? If the monster's health... if you ever need to draw or discard time cards when the deck is empty, you fail. Okay, I guess I'm still alive for one more round, which is going to be Jeff's turn. So that is Threat Shift. So this flips... Hang on, let me do the damage first. It's on 1 health. Yeah, and then that flips over. This goes back. Go back up to 5 cards, which is 4 more down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And then these 2 swap positions. And Jeff doesn't get a turn, so I have to reshuffle the monster deck because it's out of behavior cards. I have to not look at them. And then I flip one over, and it's the belly roll right. Oh, yeah, this isn't great for me either, though. So it's going to target the closest, and now it's going to target Jeffy because he's got the 8. So it's going to turn like this to face Jeff. It's like, rah, I'm going to get you, Jeff. You're the jerk that I hate. And then it moves actually one like this. Oh, it's going to hit both of them. And I guess it's like sort of rolling over on its tum-tum and hitting everyone that's in front and behind and around. So it's going to do 7 damage. Unless we spend 3 to dodge it. So Jeff does have 3, but that will leave him with no cards in hand. And then I will definitely lose. So I think Jeff just needs to take... Oh no, he's still going to have to play a card face down though. Oh, so I think I have lost then, because... No, maybe. Probably. Might be okay. We'll see. So, if I don't dodge this attack, I'm stunned. Oh no, I've definitely lost the game now. I'm fucked. Because I don't think both players can dodge this attack. And it will get 2 health back, and then I can't kill it with 1 card from Jeff. So I think that's game. Well, let's play it out anyway. Yeah, because Karen just doesn't have the cards in hand to dodge it. And if Jeff dodges it, he doesn't have any cards in hand to play. So Jeff could dodge it, but then I can't kill the monster and I lose. Karen can't dodge it, which means it regains 2 hit points. So again, if there's a 2 hiding in here, which there's not because I've played out both of my 2s. So yes, that's game. That move has killed me. Not killed me, but anyway, we'll play it out, but it's kind of redundant. So that card goes down there, and Jeff takes 7 damage, leaving him on 1 health. And the monster gains 1 back, going up to 2 health. And then it's time for Karen, who also has to discard a card, into here. And then she takes 7 damage as well, taking her down to 1 hit point also. So both technically still alive, but the monster goes back up to 3. Oh no, actually they're both dead anyway because it's got +1 damage and +1 dodge ever since I broke it. I totally forgot about that. Yep, so they're both on 0. So they both faint. So that's actually 3 faints anyway, so everyone's dead, even if we survived. Oof, everyone is dead. Alright, so what happens when we fail? Oh, that was really close. That was a very close one. We got it down to 1 hit point, and then it came back up to 2. So. Right. If the hunters faint 3 or more times, between them the group fails. Progress to the HQ phase. Discard all attack cards in your hand and on your stamina board before shuffling your discarded attack cards into your attack deck. Thanks, Tifter. Shuffle your discarded damage cards into your damage deck. Return your health dial to full. So, these both reset to 8 health, and it's effectively just asking us to do our little board admin here by resetting all these bits. Which is fine. Important to do because you might do some forging and stuff that'll change things. And I mean, I guess one of the nice things is that you still get to have you still get to have the stuff you found in the gathering phase, even if you lose the fighting phase. So it's not like a complete loss. Which I guess is nice. So that goes down there. These all go down there too. Kitty cats come back. Those go in there. This goes back to 8. And that bit's done. Woo. Right. And then there is a break rewards, but we don't get that because we didn't defeat it. Because it says here, if you failed the quest, don't roll on the rewards table. So we don't get any of the rewards on the rewards table at all. But now we can forge new things potentially if we have the right stuff to do that. So, and then we would change weapon and change armor and select a new quest. So changing the forge tables are here, and they show you all of these sort of things that you can make. So these are all the different armors you can make for the different. So this is Jeff's table here. These are all the different armors. So the top one is the helmets, and then the armor, and the bottom one is the greaves. So it's like a recipe, and it tells you the stats as well. And those are the different things that they can do. Interestingly, what I couldn't find in the rulebook, and maybe this is somewhere, is what to do with the armor if you sort of forge it but then don't have it equipped anymore. Because I know you can freely change it between players, but do you have an inventory of like the stuff you've made that you keep so you can swap things in and out? Because like certain creatures give you resistances that are helpful against them, so you'd want to sort of keep those armor sets for fighting against those creatures. Maybe? I don't know. Right, so I don't know if you guys want to see that, or if I just move straight on from this HQ bit to the review bit. I don't actually know if I can make anything. Let me have a quick look. I might have, now that I've got the ancient bones, no, I don't think I can make anything. Difter says, would guess you can just store it in town? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know if it actually spoke about that. But then there's sort of the downtime phase, which I didn't really read about yet, because I haven't done it. Actually, where is it, the downtime phase? Maybe it's right at the start. But yeah, I didn't read that yet because I was like, no, we probably don't need to do downtime for a little while yet. Yeah, wow, I can't find downtime phase. Well, that will be for us to discover another time. What happens in the downtime phase? Oh, there it is. Downtime activities, page 17. I lied. It is here. So, downtime activities are explained on page 48. Are they? Of the quest book. Right. That's why I'm looking at the wrong book. It's time for story time from the quest book. Page 48. So, downtime activities. You can go to the resource center and gamble on getting some resources, the useful resources. You can visit the stockpile to trade resources, 3 for 1. It's not a very good exchange rate. You can visit the Meowscular Chef to gain 1 resistance of a specific element for the next quest. So it's like the hero has like a tasty meal that gives them elemental resistances. You can visit the Handler, which allows you to pick a single investigation or tempered investigation quest and play it again, regardless of how many times you've attempted it. Oh, I didn't know that you couldn't actually repeat it. Okay, so what they're saying is you can do like each level 4 times. So I can only do Great Jargress 2, the one I've just done, 4 times, and this counts as one of my 4. So I can only repeat it 3 more times, but I can go to the Handler to do it a 5th time if I want. Oh, and even a 6th time if I want. It doesn't say how you'll handle the starting locations for that, but maybe that's fine. The starting locations are the numbered entries we start reading in the Gathering book, and for each level it has 4 start locations. But it doesn't say here, you know, if you're going to attempt this a 5th time, go back to the first start location. Or what? I presume they're only really there to stop you memorizing the routes. So maybe if you go back to the first one, you'll have forgotten it by then anyway. And there's a 5th option here called Pet the Poogie. And it says, Pet the Poogie, some believe this brings you luck, others believe that's a myth. Either way, nothing happens other than you get to pet the Poogie, which of course is something you should absolutely do. Difference is, I don't really see why there's a limit other than to prevent players from change equipment during battle. Oh, you're still talking about the inventory. Yeah, I don't really know why there would be a limit on the inventory necessarily. Other than, yeah, to, I don't know, give you reasons to hang on to ingredients to remake things later or something like that. I guess it really depends how you play. Like, if you focus one monster for a long time, then there might be more of a reason. If you, you know, and you build up a lot of ingredients with that monster, and you don't need to keep making the equipment all over again. But the requirements for the equipment are quite high. After this fight, which I lost, I didn't come away with much of anything, so I don't think I'll be able to make anything new. I might be able to make some of the generic weapons that just require bones and things. I'll have a look at that, but actually, let's have a quick look and see if I can make like a better weapon for Jeff, because he doesn't do enough damage. So there is all these different weapons that you can make, and like you've got these white ones, and white is the same sort of level as the starting weapon you get, so everything has like a rarity to sort of give you an indication of how good it is. And so this is your weapons chart here, and so you've got like your sort of rack of weapons here, but these are all the white rarities, and actually they all use the same deck. So the weapons have like 2 effects. They improve the action cards in your deck, so these get better, but they swap some in and out. So you always start with the basic deck that everyone starts with, which has this hex in the top corner for the starting cards. And then as you improve the weapons, what they'll do is they'll start taking some of those action cards out and putting other ones in. But the main improvement is they change the number of damage cards. So you can see up here I'm using the basic weapon, which is 10 ones for Jeff, 10 ones and 2 twos. But later on, you know, if I buy these ones, I've got 7 ones and 3 twos. So although this has got a better distribution in terms of more twos, and also they come up more often because there's fewer cards. This also means I need to sharpen it more often, potentially. So you can see down here, these two are actually the exact same. And they all have the same cost. But the thing is, if I want this next level, I have to have the preceding level. So this progresses sideways, so I can't build the wild hatchets unless I have the bone hatchets. Oh, these are all the same. Okay, there's only one bone hatchet. It just, it can become any one of these 3 things. Fine. So, I could get, you know, up to here, the wild hatchets, which are better because they're 5 ones and 5 twos, and then they remove 2 double slash cards and replace them with impact double slash, which is better. So I can probably make the bone hatchets, actually. I do think I have a small bone. I do. Can I make the wild hatchets? Monster bone large. I have one of those. Monster bone medium. I have one of those. Boulder bone. I don't have any of those. Damn. I think what I can make, maybe, is the... Nope, the Jargus helm I can't make because I didn't get any mains. That's the one that requires the ancient bone. I could have potentially made that if I'd killed it. Because I have those ancient bones, but now I can't. So that was game 2. I won the first match against the Jargus, which was slightly easier. It was on 50 health. Obviously, I lost this one. It really came down to the wire. This has been a 3-hour stream, and I haven't done the review part yet. So this is now the review, but this is really sort of first impressions after 2 games with 1 box. So, and I can't really help but put this in the context of Dark Souls either, because if you've seen Dark Souls, and the way the boss fights work in that, so Dark Souls is Steamforge's first IP game. Their first game was Guild Ball, which people love, actually. I think that's their first. I might have their chronology slightly wrong, but people love Guild Ball. I heard really good things about it, but then they did Dark Souls, the board game, and then they kind of just got into IP games and lots of miniatures and started doing that. And I did this right at the start, but I'll do it again real quick. So Monster Hunter World, big crowdfunding campaign. I only have the 2 core games, the basic pledge, and I bought 1 little Kickstarter monster, and that's it. I did not get the all-in, which involved a lot, which I think just gave you a lot more hunters and biomes and monsters to sub into the campaigns. It says 60 to 90 minutes playing time. That's probably about right for each encounter. It might be a little longer, depends on your player count. BGG says this is best at 4 players. I can't imagine how that's possible, but there you go. The weight is 2.9, which is probably about right. One of the positive things I would say about this game is that you are kind of repeating the same system over and over again, and just sort of subtle nuances on the system, like the monster's behavior and the various things that happen, and sort of the way the different characters behave. So, you know, it's not too bad to learn it and then just keep re-implementing it. And it's designed by Matt Hart, Sherwin Matthews, Jamie Perkins, and the artists are Russ Charles, Thomas Lishman, Doug Telford, Holly Wolford, and it's published by Steamforged Games. And this is my own copy, which I purchased through the Kickstarter campaign. And yeah, I was hoping, because I really like the boss fights in Dark Souls, and the big problem with Dark Souls is it kind of needs the fights with the little baddies that happen in between the big boss fights to give everything else context. That's where you get better items. That's where you improve your character and level up and so forth, so that when you get to the boss, you actually have a hope of fighting it. But if you don't do those fights, then you don't have that context of the equipment and the level ups and so on to do the boss fight. But also, those little minion fights are not particularly enjoyable. They're okay, but they're a bit too long and they get quite samey. So you want to get to the boss fights, really, which are the interesting and fun parts. And so I was kind of hoping that this would be the boss fights from Dark Souls without all the gubbins in between, and we could just focus on the fun stuff. And some of the stuff they did, and so what they fundamentally changed about this game is this card stamina system. That's all new. Dark Souls had dice throwing, lots of dice chucking. I can't remember exactly how it worked. I think we had action points or something. The potion system was kind of similar. Dark Souls had like a potion you would drink, and then that would help you out, and you wanted to save that for just the right moment, and this has a similar thing with the health potions. But it doesn't have this sort of card play stamina thing, and Dark Souls had a lot more dice in it, and the equipment you equipped would give you access to more dice, and you'd specifically go down to different strategies with Dark Souls as well, one of which was dodging, where you'd roll these very swingy dodge dice to try and dodge an attack, or you would go the attrition route and just tank up on health and armor and try to, outlast your enemy's attacks. In this, it's a little bit of both, but it definitely feels like the dodging is much more of a thing, and it's much more integrated because the dodging in this is deterministic. So I spend X amount of agility and I just get to dodge and do the movement. And I don't remember Dark Souls specifically if when you dodge you can move more than one node, but its movement system is very, very similar. So it's got the nodes that the creatures move around, the characters move around. In Dark Souls, obviously, you have minion fights where minions are sharing nodes with people, and nodes have capacity and things are getting pushed in and out, which feels a lot more dynamic. In this, you have only one baddie in any given fight. Maybe there are fights in the expansion sets that have more than one baddie. I don't know. I haven't tried that. I don't have it. But in this core set, at least, there is one baddie that takes up one node. And so the nodes are only shared by the heroes, and it generally feels like you don't want the hunters to be in the same node, because quite often monsters will target a specific node and hit everyone in that node, and then you're just doubling attacks, which is bad news. So you don't want that. But I kind of miss the dice. I kind of miss the dice from Dark Souls. I don't know if the deterministic card play is added a lot, generally. And I feel like the dice were quite exciting and quite fun. The combat dice, the attack dice were quite fun. I like these attack decks less, probably because I'm low level and I'm still at the beginning of the campaign. So I've got a lot of ones. And I mean, Karen's attack deck, which you saw in the game, was a lot more exciting, specifically because her attack deck has 3s in it. They go up to 4, these cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's got 1, 3, and a couple of 2s. So she does more damage than Jeff anyway. I mean, she doesn't do more damage. She's got higher damage cards. But it felt like she was just kind of better than Jeff. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I just don't know how to use demon mode properly. But I just couldn't trigger his ability. The fact that it needs to be played in this slot, so you have to have these all free, just feels like it takes up a lot of setup, and then you're kind of relying on the boss just not hitting you. It was just difficult to set up. Maybe with more practice, I would get better at that and do better with setting it up. And, you know, that's fine, but I think that the boss fight feels very, very long, and it doesn't really escalate dramatically. And I think that's possibly just because this is, again, you know, basic boss, you know, first 2 fights, nothing particularly dramatic. I'd be interested in trying, you know, the Rathlos fight or whatever, you know, just like an arena battle, which is a one-off with the pre-made characters, just to see how that is. But, you know, when I've been playing a lot of Oathsworn with Chris lately, that's a big boss battler where you have these big boss fights as well. And that just feels really dynamic. It really escalates. Things change rapidly over the course of the conflict. In this, it kind of feels like it's sort of the same. And that was one of the nice things about Dark Souls, was that the boss's behavior deck would be small enough that you had a chance to learn its cards. So, you know, it'd probably run through the deck, which is about 5 attacks or something, twice. And so you'd have a chance to sort of see them the first time, and then try to remember them for the second time. And then that was important, because when you got the boss down to about half health, it would enrage and add some extra cards. So then you'd know some of the cards in the deck, but it would add some new, bigger attacks. So it kind of solved these problems by having a smaller behavior deck, which you would see more often. So over the course of the fight, you'd feel like you learned the boss, so you could react to its behavior, but then it would escalate, so the fight would become more dramatic. And I really don't know why they've taken out the enrage mechanic and just doubled the number of behavior cards. It feels like it's a step back, because you have less to learn, and it doesn't change at all, and the fights are longer now. So that feels odd. I don't know why they made that decision. I would have kept the escalation the same. I really liked that part of the boss fights in Dark Souls, and I don't know why they took it out. I can't think of a good reason. I'm also, you know, 20 days for a campaign, 25 days feels like a really long time. and I'm a little concerned that where we can perceive them to have solved the problem of bloat in Dark Souls by taking out all the minion fights, they've just actually hidden it in repeating the same boss fight over and over and over and over again, right? Like, I've got 5 bosses in this box, albeit I've only got 4 miniatures, but, I'm not going to get fussy about that. I don't mind if, they had 2 completely different bosses that used the same miniature. If they've put the variety in the game mechanisms, that's great. But I just don't know if I trust them to have made these bosses feel substantially different, so the fights will feel significantly different. I need to see, and I'm going to definitely play one of these arena matches, but I don't have a lot of faith in Steamforge. They definitely have a bit of an uphill struggle to win me back over to their side. But I do, give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I looked at this and I was like, okay, this could be quite good. It could be quite interesting. If they've learned what their lessons from Dark Souls and implemented what they learned that worked in that game and improved upon it. This looks like it's got a lot of the similar mechanisms. One of the designers is the same. That's really positive. Unfortunately, they seem to have made the boss fight longer, more arduous, without any real meaningful escalation. Obviously, the break points exist, and when you break those points, the monster simultaneously gets easier and harder. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I really like the enrage mechanic because it fundamentally changes its behavior without completely usurping the behavior cards you've already learned. And what I liked about the Dark Souls bosses is all of their behavior cards felt quite different, So it would have like a move where and that's partly I think because it was based on a game where, and I haven't played Dark Souls. I played Demon Souls a long time ago. And I played a little bit of Elden Ring on the channel, but that's it, right? But what I understand from those boss fights, even from the one fight I did in Elden Ring on the show here in the live streams, is that, those bosses have their whole thing in that game is telegraphing an attack, behaving in a specific way, and you have to learn how to deal with that attack, right? I don't know if it's the same in Monster Hunter, but I don't see why they wouldn't have utilized that here. But what I'm trying to say is that the Great Jargus' behavior cards, they don't feel significantly different enough, So there's 10 cards, so it's more that I have to learn, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. But again, I would have rather to have fewer cards so that it felt like there's a little bit more of a game, but in learning them and predicting them and trying to remember them. Obviously, like cards like the Spit Up card, you can learn that it's going to do that ranged attack, which is really brutal. But then it's got belly roll right and belly roll left, and those are basically the exact same move, and there's only one safe spot. And do they look the same? They both look the same on the back, so that's that doesn't feel significantly different enough. I don't know. And also you've got forward swing and I don't know. Maybe I'm just not really good at remembering these, but it feels like there's a lot of them. And part of the process of learning these behavior cards is that, there would be fewer, and then you'd have a chance to learn those, and each one of them would be significantly different, Like you'd have the arc attack where it would do a big attack in front, and then you'd have the jump attack where it would jump backwards and smash into the ground. And so because the attacks were quite significantly different to one another, they felt more noticeable. I mean, Spit Up stands out, but a lot of the there's a lot of these, Head Slam, Belly Charge, Headbutt, and Heavy Bite and Forward Swing are 5 attacks where all it does is charge at its target and attack its target. I mean, these ones, it attacks the furthest person away. These ones, it attacks the closest. But fundamentally, it's still all the same thing. Move 2 to 3 forward, attack the thing in your front arc. So, I'm not going to remember all the tiny subtle differences. And in a game like this, where it's about dynamic movement and positioning, being able to avoid an attack, 'cause you get like one step right, you can remember that this one has, you know, like only 2 moves forward instead of 3. That means you can dodge it better. You know, that was great. And the other thing about Dark Souls, actually, that was really good was you could manipulate the monsters facing as well. Like, it didn't just automatically turn to face... I don't remember, actually, if it automatically turned to face its target or whatever. What I do remember is that, you know, if it was facing a certain way, you could step to the side to get out of the way and it would run right past you. And that felt really good. In this, before and after it moves, it always turns to face its target. So unless its target... The only way to dodge an attack that targets you is to be so far away it can't get to you. So there's not this sort of element of like looking at the cards and going, okay, it's done these 3 moves, so its next 2 moves might be this one or this one. And I remember that when it does the belly charge or the headbutt or whatever, it runs straight forward and then does the attack. So if I stand here, it'll run right past me. That was a cool way of sort of manipulating the facing, but that's all gone, because no matter where I stand, if I'm 3, it's just going to turn and target me and hit me. So it just feels like they sort of didn't quite grab what was really exciting about those boss fights, and whatever changes they've made, they've lost some of it instead of improved it. Maybe I'm misremembering the Dark Souls boss fights. I mean, we played that game not a lot, and we didn't give it a very good review, but we did really like those boss fights. And for whatever reason, I'm just not quite getting the same magic or the same enthusiasm from the boss fights here. And I think part of it is this lack of escalation. Like, it just repeats the same behavior over and over again for the whole fight. And 60 health. Good lord, that took me so long to do 60 health worth of damage. And I guess the question I've got to ask myself is, do I want to repeat this another 18 times for this campaign? I don't think I do. And the other question, I suppose, as well, is like, you can create all this variety by adding the other monsters in, and I was thinking like, okay, so I want to review one core set because I want to know, is there enough value in just one core set with 4 monsters, or 5 if you include this variant, and hopefully they feel substantially different? Or is this, you know, a trap where you don't really get enough content in this one core box and you have to go out and get another core box and the expansions with the extra monsters and things like that? But I don't really know if that's necessarily relevant anyway, because I think the fundamental question about the fights is, are the boss fights fun enough where you want to repeat them over and over again? And, you know, I think one of the most important things about, you know, repeating a puzzle, especially if it's sort of a slight variation on a puzzle, is the ability to improve at it in terms of player skill, right? So you want to feel like it's not just, you know, bigger numbers that are helping you to win, but actually you're getting better at it. You know, it's like, just think about the kind of boss fights that in the video games that this is emulating, right? You know, you repeat those fights, you learn the moves of your adversaries, and of course there's an element of numbers go up, character get better, but, you know, there's also an element of player skill where you get better at the game and then you apply that skill, and you want to see that in the board game too. So it's like, where's the scope here for me to get better at the game so that I can do better in these boss fights? And part of that is learning the behavior deck and being able to predict those cards, you know, those attacks, like, when is it going to do this? Where do I need to position myself? And that means that the game needs to give you scope to be able to predict those cards, and also it needs to give you scope to be able to actually meaningfully do something about them. And I think fundamentally what I'm struggling with here is the and I'm just looking at the back of these sort of forward attacks, and I don't really see how I can necessarily predict these just from the iconography on the back. There's definitely some pretty unique combinations of symbology on the back here, But on the other hand, these two are the belly roll left and right, and then we've got belly slam and roll forward. So these are all variations. These all look identical on the back, but these two have the beast attacking everywhere, but it's rear arc and then moving forward or back. And these two have it going left and right. So realistically, to be safe from all of these cards, I need to be stood... And these two have range 1, and these two have range 2. So actually, the only way to be safe from all of these cards is to be stood in front of it and 2 spaces away. And then, if I saw one of these coming up, and I could position myself here, then that's great. But I think that that's too much distance. That amount of movement... I mean, maybe I wasn't playing enough cards for the agility to sprint. I think if the sprint cards weren't played into the stamina row, that would make the game a lot more dynamic, because I could do a lot more movement trying to remember these things and react to them. But I actually really struggled to get cards out of here. The only way for me to really do it was either the feint cards on this character, and I had to find those. And on this character, it was really just to use a potion. This character had a lot more cards that just kind of cleared themselves, which was helpful. But overall, managing these stamina rows felt really crucial to doing damage. And in the end, I lost because I just didn't do enough damage fast enough. I mean, I ran out of time effectively. And then they all died as well. But, you know, it didn't really matter. Like, it was time before it was death by hit points. And I was literally 1 damage off of that, you know. So managing the damage is super duper important, which makes me feel like I just don't have enough space on the stamina boards to play the movement cards out, to be dynamic enough to react to these attacks and do sort of clever dodging and positioning, which is a shame because I think that's what this is really all about. But, you know, quite often I was just kind of standing around it, because I didn't want to move too far away from it so that I could hit it on my turn. And I think that's kind of the problem. You can see all the pieces here for this really cool dynamic fight, but then it doesn't really come together well enough. And I don't know, maybe it gets better with more advancement, because obviously the game is designed for you to be collecting all these little things and building much more powerful equipment. So I'll definitely give the arena mode a shot before I sell the game. But at the moment, I'm not convinced that I'm going to keep it. Because I just think it's probably too long and the boss fights feel a little too long. And I don't have faith in Steamforged to have created all these really interesting dynamic boss fights, especially not when they've done so many expansions. But, you know, and they would have had to balance out all of those and make them interesting. But let's give the arena mode a shot, you know. Like I said, I'm forever an optimist, even if I am skeptical. But I think that's going to probably wrap up this review from me here on Monster Hunter World. Hopefully, what's it called? Primal Awakening, the other one, the other big monster boss battler, does the same thing but better. There's a lot in theory that I really like here, but I just think in practice it's just not quite delivering on it. And I think they've hidden longevity in the game as well. Hidden this long campaign. 20 days is too long, but they need it to be that long so you have a meaningful time to build up equipment and escalate, you know, your characters. But I don't know. We'll give the. Also, I don't know. Some of these fucking time cards are so random. Like, some of these ones that's like 50-50, you go to sleep or the monster goes to sleep, is massive. Absolutely huge. And it's just roll the dice and see what happens. And you use the same time deck for literally every boss fight. There are these other time cards, the red time cards that I think these are like the Ancient Guardian we saw, where, you know, you might shuffle one of these into your time deck for a specific fight, but these time cards felt really arbitrary. And we'd taken basically 20 of them out of the deck as well before we started, so... But I don't know, that Rampage one as well, that just dropped the counter to 0. That was savage. Absolutely savage. And there's another one here, actually. So there's 2 of those in this whole deck. So you could get a bunch of those. Or you could have a bunch of Sleepy Toes that just keep putting the monster to sleep. That feels like it's a bit too arbitrary. And a bit too powerful. Not powerful. A bit too impactful. For a game that's not... I mean, it's odd they took all the dice out and made everything more deterministic and then added in this deck of random nonsense. That's odd. That's an odd choice. I don't understand that. It would be cool if these sort of like added things onto the board, like sort of game elements, like, you know, maybe the Sleepy Toad appears on the board, and then if you have to dodge onto it, you go to sleep, but you could run over and pick it up and throw it at the monster, and then it would go to sleep. That would be cool. Like if it added these sort of like gameplay elements that gave you more dynamic choices. But the fact that you just roll a die and 50-50 you get into big trouble, that's... Or you get a big benefit. And there's not even a middle ground where nothing happens. That's wild. Anyway, more odd choices from Steamforge, continuing their trend of odd choices. But at least the game is functional, and it's not a terrible time. So that's their review for you. Right, I'll do the arena match. If you have any thoughts on which monster we should fight, leave them in the comments down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. This content was voted for by the patrons on Patreon. They wanted to see the game covered, and so it is thanks to them that you can see this content and hear my completely independent editorial thoughts on it. If you'd like to support the show, please do check out the Patreon. That's our preferred way to keep this content coming. But otherwise, thank you. Oh, and if you can't support the Patreon, of course, you can always leave a like, leave a comment, tell a friend, subscribe to the show. Everything helps out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video, or maybe at the UK Games Expo. It's this weekend. That's exciting. Bye.